It was Duchess.
But that didn't last long because on March 3rd, Katie and Chris spoke to the podcast Duchess about Sebastian's disappearance, and this was their first interview with the media.
Justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
We won't relent. We will fight until the end. We have been sent to protect and to defend. We won't relent. We will fight until the end. We have been sent to protect and to defend. Let justice flow like a river, flow from the peaks to the ground. Let justice flow like a river, till only freedom is found. We count the cost. We will pledge our very lives. All nation lost, but the kingdom will arise. Let justice flow like a river, flow from the peaks to the ground. Let justice flow like a river, till only freedom is found. Let justice flow like a river, flow from the peaks to the ground. Let justice flow like a river, till only freedom is found. The coastlines will know, the coastlines will know, the coastlines will know your justice. The islands will know, the islands will know, the islands will know your justice. will know, the nations will know your justice. The coastlands will know, the coastlands will know, the coastlands will know your justice. Let justice flow like a river. Flow from the peaks to the ground. Let justice flow like a river. Till only freedom is found. Let justice flow like a river. Flow from the peaks to the ground. Let justice flow like a river. Till only freedom is found. We won't relent.
We will fight until the end.
We have been sent.
To protect and to defend.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Duchess, and this is where we talk about true crime and missing cases. And I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. It has been 2 years since Tyler Wilson Doyle went missing in the Little River Inlet. And I wanted to welcome you guys here tonight because it's been a long time since we've spoken about Tyler. And I just feel like that there's no better time than the present to just kind of touch base with you guys and see how everybody is doing. I wanted to give you a check-in to let you guys know that, the family is trying to stay strong as possible. And today was a very difficult day. And I just want to welcome you guys in. Please don't forget to hit the like and share this to get this into the algorithm, because Tyler is still missing and his family is still seeking justice and answers. And I wanted to play the justice song for Tyler and his family. And I feel emotional because today I spent a few hours with the family out at Cherry Grove Point. And, it's just heartbreaking for there not to be any answers after 2 years. And I still go on Facebook and I still see people leaving terrible comments, saying hateful things. And it bothers me that there's people in the world like this. And I just appreciate all of those that are in this chat and in the Facebook group that have been so supportive of Tyler's father, Brian, and his Aunt Shay, his grandmother, Miss Linda, his grandfather, Mr. Ricky, and his brother Reed. You can't imagine what this family is going through. So I just want to welcome everybody in. And I also want to welcome a special guest who's going to be here to talk with us a little bit tonight. And I'm so happy that she decided to join me. So tonight I'm going to bring up Shay. And I want there to make no mistake, there will be no disrespect in this chat. And if I catch you being disrespectful, I will block you straight away, because we will not tolerate the harassment and disrespect on this channel for any of the families. And I want to make sure that is loud and clear. Kathy Wilson, thank you so much for being here. So sad nothing has been done. Yes, it is. Allie, thank you so much for being here. MJ5, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Amanda, it's good to see you. Hey, Pointer Lover, thank you for being here. Cassanne Jace Brown, thank you for being here. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen a lot of you guys in a while, and I hope that you guys are doing good. The 5 Canes, thank you so much for being a member for 16 months. You are so appreciated. Thank you so very much for being here. Hey, Michelle, I know you're busy, but I appreciate you being here and listening in. Shayla, it's very good to see you. I hope you've been doing good. Thank you for being here. Hey, Kim Holmes, thank you for being here. Hey, Stacy May. Hey, Annette, it's good to see you. Yes, justice for Tyler. Justice for Tyler. He and his family certainly deserve that. Wine, crime, and mayhem. I can't believe it's been 2 years. Me either. Time really flies, doesn't it? Mike Maines, it's so good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. It's been a chilly South Carolina winter, hasn't it? Hey, Stacy May, it's good to see you. Aiden Thomas, I'm so glad to see you, and I hope you're doing good. I hope your family is well, your wife and your children. I think about you often, and I thought about you today, and I hope you're doing good. Annette says, my heart hurts for Tyler's family and close friends. I think that goes for many of us. Hey, JC Ann, it's very good to see you. The 5 Cane says, to the entire Doyle family, trust me, Tyler is thought of often, and I'll never stop praying for all of you, 38 strong. Hey, Elizabeth Lander, good to see you, love. Thank you for being here. Hey, Nonsense, it's so good to see you. Thank you for coming over. Hey, Chatty, thank you for being here. Hey, Lauren, hope you're doing well. Hey, Dragon. Hey, Tammy Barnes, truly heartbreaking. There's no clues or answers after 2 years. We're not going to give up. Chatty, thank you for being a member for 5 months. I appreciate you supporting us over here. It means the world to me. Thank you, Sheila Wood. Love to Tyler and the Doyle family, praying for answers. I want to welcome Shay to the panel. Thank you for being here, Shay. I think you're muted. If you're like me, I never know what I'm doing.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for being there with me today and
You're
our
very
family.
You're very welcome. I was honored that you asked me to be there again, to come out there with you and the family. And it was, I've cried off and on all day long. Today has been very emotional.
Yeah.
And this was a tough day. And I did make a little video that I sent to you, and you said it was okay to play it. And I did do some tweaking on the video. And I wanted to share with you guys just a little bit of what happened today when we went out to the point. I wanted you just to kind of see. It was 54 degrees, y'all, but I'm telling you, that wind was cutting like a knife, and my ears are still ringing. So
It was cold.
It was cold.
There's the wind that makes it so cold, and thank God I had that thing to go over my ears, because I can't stand it when my ears get so cold. But it was just it was a blessing that we all could be there together, and unfortunately that we have to do this. And we don't have to do it. We do it because we don't want to have to remember this day, but we will always have to remember this day. But at least that, we can come together and continue to fight for Tyler. And we'll always do that as long as it takes.
Exactly. Because he deserves justice.
He does.
And your family deserves to have answers.
Yep.
No family should have to go without confirmation about what happened to their loved one. No family should have to have a law enforcement agency, such as the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, assigned to a missing persons case, something they have no expertise in. They don't even know what NamUs is.
No, never. They should not. I mean, the simple answers that we are asking for 2 years, it's unfair. It's wrong. They've done this before to other families, and something has to change. And hopefully, within time, we can get with lawmakers and something will change, but they have to be held accountable for what they do to people. I mean, this is a human being that was loved beyond measure. Like, you can't even put into words how much we love him. And we ask for simple questions from these people who are they get paid to do this, and they have yet to be able to give us those answers, and that's wrong. I mean, let's not even talk about the last person to see him alive, and they know who he is. And it's wrong in so many ways that we have had to wait for 2 years, and we still don't have simple questions answered by them. We did our own investigating, and we know the answers, but it has to come from them. And we still don't have that, and that's not okay.
I agree. I feel like 2 years later, when I look back at everything that we've done, all of our own little internal investigating, I feel like we did a better job than the DNR did, honestly.
Oh, we did. We most certainly did.
And we turned over all those phone calls and information, thanks to Danny Jewell, coming forward and speaking his truth. Thanks to Wings of Hope, being willing to do what they had to do in order for us to get all of this pertinent information. We were able to link up with some wonderful people who were invested in Tyler's story. They got us hooked up with the solicitor. We were able to write letters to the governor and get this case turned over to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which is kind of like our state FBI. And it's been 14 months, Shay.
Yeah.
And we don't have any answers yet. They are still investigating.
We don't. I have faith in SLED because of the times that I have spent talking with them. I have faith that they will do the right thing. I just feel like that there's got to be something done for families who lose people in the water, and then it's handled by South Carolina DNR, and they do not know how to do that. They can't. I mean, I've reflected back on Mallory Beach, what her family went through. There was 4 different times that it was changed, the reason that the boating accident that caused her death, but it was never listed that they were intoxicated, and that is what caused her to die. Like, she was thrown from that boat because the person driving was drunk.
Right.
Her family was denied so much, and you're powerless as a family member. We can't do anything, but it's so easy for them to just do the right thing, and they don't do it, and I don't understand why not.
I know. And
But if it was their family, I'm pretty sure that it would have been listed that the driver of that boat was who he was, and he was drunk.
Exactly.
And she lost her life because of that. But no, they didn't do the right thing for her. They have not done the right thing for Tyler. And had the main guy of this DNR not been in charge, I feel like the guys who are helping now with DNR, they are trying to do the right thing. I think they are, but they have come into such a mess that they have been put in a bad situation.
Yeah, because now they have to clean up the mess that was made, because
Right.
this investigation was botched, because evidence wasn't taken and kept in an evidence file and a locker. It was just people were finding things, and the DNR they don't have any chain of command. They didn't even know the proper way to handle the investigation. And Lauren brings up a fair point, the sonar photo that Wings of Hope had, but they wouldn't let them dive on it. Did anything come of that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. But we have recorded phone call conversations that will back us up.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that, I mean, if you've been following this from day one, you know about my Ray-Ban stories, my sunglasses that I bought at Christmas time when I went with my family and my children to the Keys fishing. I bought those because I did not want to have to hold a pole and a phone to be able to record. I came across those glasses on an ad through Facebook, so I bought them. They came in handy. And everybody knows that's been watching this case that I have been documenting everything from day one. And I'm talking about everything. If I had a phone conversation with you, you got recorded and you didn't know it, because I had to do that. I had to screenshot every single text, every single message through Facebook, everything, because I have to be able to put this piece together and document what has happened. So they have been recorded many, many times on phone calls, and people just don't really know what I've got that that I'm going to use when it comes down to it.
If it hadn't been for your documenting this entire situation from the get-go, I'm not sure that we would even be able to get the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division investigating this case. But there's just a lot of suspicious circumstances that are surrounding this entire case that began the very night that I got the phone call from my neighbor telling me that there was a young man in the water out there at the jetty. Because, as you know, there's 2 or 3 of my neighbors that have deep sea boats, and that's what they do. They have charter boats, and they have their radios on all the time. And my neighbor called me straight away. He said, I know you cover missing cases. There's somebody that's out there missing. And I said, I see something going on out there at the boat landing. I'm very, very worried, because I too have been missing in that water.
Yeah.
And I was out there for several hours in the middle of February, hanging on for dear life, not knowing if somebody was going to find me out there. And I know what the struggle is to just fight that.
And you're
water.
here. You're here today to be able to talk with us, and you know exactly what it's like out there. You are a quarter of the size and had a quarter of the strength that Tyler had, so
Yes.
to know that you made it, you had on a life jacket. The 911 call, what does he say? The lady asked him, was he wearing a life jacket? He says, yes, I saw him put it on. Where's Tyler?
Exactly.
You saw him put on a life jacket, but you didn't see anything after that? His boat was within eyesight of that jetty rock. You could be if the Cito saw him, Cito saw the boat, Christian saw Tyler. End of story. It doesn't add up. They never spoke to us. They didn't speak to our family. They never came to help look for Tyler. If it was the other way around, I've said this many times, our family would have rallied around that family. We would have done everything we could to help find Tyler's friend. Not only did they not do that, but they would not even tell my husband the next morning, would not even get him on the phone to tell my husband where he last laid his eyes on Tyler. My husband said, I'm going out there to look for my nephew, and I just want to speak to him. I want to know where he last laid eyes on him. He was denied to be able to talk to him. Who does that? What kind of people do that when a desperate family is trying to find somebody that they love, that they don't know what's going on? We had no freaking clue. The last thing we thought was that Tyler was never going to come back home. And you're going to tell my husband that I have to go back and tell my family, my parents, that you're not going to let your kid talk to us? Who does that? Well, guess what? You know what? We did our own investigating, and I've said this before. We know the kind of people who do that.
Yeah. And I think, there was a few key things that were really off to me. When I came out to the boat landing, I told my husband, I said, I want you to drive me out to the boat landing. I need to check and make sure that they have found these duck hunters. I want to make sure everybody's okay, because I worry, y'all. I mean, there's nothing like fighting for your life in that ocean. I promise you, the ocean is not your friend. The ocean is not your friend. And I'm not just saying that because I've been in that water. I know what it's like. I speak from experience. So anytime that I hear that somebody is out in that water and they can't find them, like, my heart just sinks, because it just takes me back to that place. And I had to go, no, is everything going to be okay? And I went out there and I drove around to the edge and I saw all of his friends, standing there on the dock. And I remember a couple of the guys coming up to the truck, and I told him, I said, hey, I live in this neighborhood right here, and I've been watching y'all out my kitchen window. I got notified from my friend that has a charter boat about what's going on, and I just want to know if the young man has been found. And they said no. But and then all of a sudden they told me that there was a call that came in and that y'all were leaving to go up to Windjammer Village to the private boat ramp up there because, they think they have found the boat. They have found somebody that was out there. Of course, I didn't know any of the circumstances at that point. And I remember seeing you and Brian leaving to drive up there. And I couldn't sleep. I sat in my kitchen all night long. I didn't sleep a wink. I sat there and watched y'all, because y'all came back to the boat landing and y'all were out there all night long, and it was so cold.
Me and my mom, we kept turning the car on because it was cold, just to heat it up for a little while. And I've told this story before. Everybody who knows me well knows that I love looking at the night sky. I know so much about it. I follow stars, and we were laying there, and the stars were just moving, and they were big because it's winter time. I mean, if you look outside to your right now, you can see a gigantic star, and it's actually a planet. But she thought it was a helicopter. And by this time, I think it was like 2 in the morning. I didn't have the heart to tell her that that's not what it was. And she said, I think they're hovering. They probably found him. But yeah, we stayed out there all night long and all day the next day. I didn't go home until later on. Like, I think I was there for 48 hours or more without brushing my teeth or, actually sleeping. And
Y'all
I
didn't
finally
leave.
came home I finally came home to take a shower, and I slept for a couple of hours, and I got back up and I went right back out there. And my neighbor, who is actually my best friend, she is the one who met me out there and wanted to speak for the family, and but we weren't allowed to do that by the next of kin. She was not allowed to give a speech for us because the next of kin wouldn't allow it, so, which was awful. I mean, we needed all the exposure we could get for Tyler. Granted, the boat landing was full of people. I mean, there was not even a place to park, but we needed even more than that. We needed people with planes and boats to come from everywhere. But, when you're not the next of kin, you can't, there's only so many decisions that you can make, unfortunately.
That is a whole nother situation in itself is the story, you know, involving his wife. And I think that was a piece to the story that I really didn't expect,
We didn't
but
either.
it was a game changer for me.
And we hate it so bad that, you know, things are like they are, but you know, I mean, if you were just going to leave and go on with your life, we understand that, but give us that power to be Tyler's voice. Give us the power to make decisions on his behalf. If you're not going to do it, let us do it. You know, and ultimately it worked out that way, that, you know, when a person just gives up on someone else, I mean, we got to be his voice one way or another, but
I
and
agree.
we still will be. So,
You know, we're never going to give up hope that there's going to be, because the truth is out there, guys.
never.
The truth is out there. It just takes uncovering all of the little and putting those puzzle pieces together. And
Giving
sometimes that
that exposure
exactly.
to the people who need to be exposed has to be put out there.
You know, a lot
Not
of
being
people.
afraid to do it is what needs to be done. And you
Mhm,
know what? The documentation doesn't lie. When it's their voice that's being recorded, God, I've got hours and hours of people recorded. You
I know.
can't deny that. I mean,
You
there's
sure
nothing they can
can't.
do.
And some of these calls are just, it'll blow your mind. I spent a lot of time going out there every day to check on y'all to see if there was anything that you needed. I can't
We
tell you
did.
how many people in this community came out to volunteer their time, bring their own boats, and went out in that water to help search. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you, this community here in Horry County, South Carolina is amazing. Y'all need to give
Yes.
them a shout out in this chat because this community is awesome. These
We
people
had,
came together
yes,
for this family to go out there and search, and they did a hell of a job. And you know what?
they
They didn't
did.
ask for anything in return. They just wanted Tyler to be found. But you know who didn't do that? You know who sat there and ate the family's food every day? You know who sat there and talked a bunch of smack about a bunch of people and just didn't, they weren't doing anything. That was the
Mm-mm.
DNR. And I
I had
was
to
there.
sit there and listen to one of them talk about his days in Vietnam and like, you know, I mean, it's just nonstop. Me, it's about me, 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 me. I'm thinking to myself, and then when I would say to that person, like, I even talked about the Chinese balloon that happened to just be right there where we were.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we got to see all of that. And I said, well, what if, because you got to think, if you love somebody, if you think about your child, how much you love that person, you love them with all your heart, you're going to come up with anything you can to make it make sense that they're still alive, that they're out there somewhere. So I said to one of them, I said, you know, what if, because I did my research, you know, international waters, they were already waiting out there for that balloon. The Russians, the Chinese, whoever could get to it first, we were out there. You know, what if Tyler somehow got swept out that far? I'm here telling this person that, and they laugh in my face, this DNR agent. And I had to listen to his Vietnam stories, and while he ate up all the fried chicken he could shove down his throat, you know, it was just, that's the kind of stuff we had to deal with. We were laughed at about getting video footage from that hotel that's nearest the jetties that pans that way in Cherry Grove. Oh no, well, we're not going to be able to get that. You know, what is wrong with these people? How could you consider yourself any decent law enforcement agent if you talk to a family like that? We were just desperate for them to do anything. I don't care how stupid it sounded, just please do something. But no, they just sat there and ate, and I think the most they did was they spent 2 days, I believe, looking at a tree that they thought was Tyler near the jetties. And one time they went out to frying pan shoals, and they came back, they looked like they were so angry about that.
Yeah.
But
I
there were
remember
some
that.
good DNR agents there. There was a lady and there was a guy who filled in. He was the most kind guy ever to me, and he did sit down and talk to me about things. Unfortunately, he didn't get to stay long because he was just filling in for somebody who was out sick. So I don't
Yeah.
think they're all bad people. I just think that the ones that were there that have been there a long time, just they just don't get it.
I think the moment that really was eye-opening to me, and this was right off the get-go, just a couple days in, a local commercial fisherman who's a fourth generation fisherman. His family owns a restaurant. This is how he makes his living. His name is Danny Jewell. And Danny was kind enough to let me record a phone call with him. He
Yes.
gave me permission to play it on the channel, in which I did on a live stream. Um, he is such an amazing guy, and why don't you tell everybody how that went? Because there's maybe some people that are new here that don't know about what Danny Jewell did for your family, what he was trying to do for Tyler and your family, and how the DNR treated him.
So he had recently lost his son, and he was able to bury his son, and he found out about Tyler very quickly, and his feelings were that, he couldn't imagine not being able to lay his child to rest. And so he had such sympathy for us that he wanted to drag his nets, and he wanted to bring Tyler back to us in a decent looking way. I mean, it's very gruesome to think about a person being underneath the water, but you know what happens after a day or two or three? Nobody wants to see that. And Mr. Danny was so kind. He said, I will drag my nets. I will have a DNR agent come on. He told them, he said, you can get on my boat with me. All I want to do is bring this child back to their family, to the family, so they have closure, so they can lay their child to rest. And he wanted to help us so bad. They not only denied him of that, they threatened him with fines. They threatened to take his boat. I mean, who does that? And I asked them about that. I said, why would you deny our family? When I got to SLED, I said, that was wrong. This man, he offered to help us, and you even denied us of that. And the only excuse I got was because it would turn up the waters and the divers couldn't see what was on the bottom. But I don't believe nobody dived in that water for Tyler. I believe they were scared. I believe they were afraid to dive down, so that's not a good enough excuse. Tyler was never found, and what we were denied, that was so wrong. But I just, if he ever sees this, I just want him to know how thankful I am that he offered to do that for our family. He said he would even pay the $10,000 fine, which we would have never let him do. We would have paid it for him.
I know.
But the kindness in his heart to go out of his way to do that, that made me realize what a precious human being that he is.
Yeah, we have such good people that just simply wanted to bring closure for your family, and they wouldn't allow it. They said it's not shrimping season, and
Yeah.
you might keep some shrimp. That's what they were worried about, y'all. They were worried about Danny Jewell wanting to keep some shrimp, and he said, "I'll even cut my net a hole in there so that none of the shrimp will get through. And you can even put some South Carolina DNR officers on the boat with me when I drag the waterway, so that when I bring Tyler up, they can make sure that I don't take anything from the sea with me. I just want to bring closure and bring Tyler home." And they said, if you go out there and do it against our wishes, we'll fine you and we'll take your commercial fisher's license for a year.
That's
And
awful.
that, threatening somebody to do that, I think that
I
is
mean,
wrong.
can you imagine? can you imagine how my brother feels, and my mom and my dad and Reed, knowing the fact that a firearm was involved in a missing person, and they threaten a man who wants to help bring our loved one home, but they do nothing to the person who was standing on those rocks with a freaking gun. I mean, how does that make sense? Because it doesn't.
Yeah, and a lot of people that may not be from the coast may not understand the laws of South Carolina, but you are not allowed to hunt or have any type of firearm on that jetty. That
No, he was
jetty is the
charged with a $250 fine. That was it, and allowed to leave that night. Never took his firearm. No, because somebody else came and got it. You
That's
know,
right.
how dare they even? I don't even know how they can sleep at night. That knowing that they would threaten a man trying to help our family, to find him, take away his livelihood to help our family, but not do a proper investigation of a missing person with a firearm involved?
Yes, and Allie brings up a good point. That firearm left the scene and was never checked.
Never checked. There was no police officer there
Nope.
whenever he got out of that ambulance and refused to go to the hospital. Oh, he was hypothermic. Okay, but he refused to go to the hospital. There was nothing wrong with him. He had a gun that got taken away. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Who
He had
does
his
that?
girlfriend there to bring him some clothes,
In a warm car,
and then he left.
and never
And that
came
was
back
it.
until he was forced, according to what DNR told us. They had to threaten him to make him come back. Now,
Yeah,
do we
because
know if that's true or not? We don't know.
well, supposedly they made him go back out there to recreate the scene with him up on the jetty.
And we
But
don't even know
listen,
if that was true.
I feel like that Tyler and this young man both knew that it was against the law to be on that jetty with a firearm. So, how did all this transpire? Like, what made them suddenly decide, like, hey, I want you to let me out of this boat so I can get up here with the firearm? What if he accidentally shot Tyler? What if there
Yeah.
was an accident? Why not just say there was an accident? Like, people will understand that. But that's not exactly what happened. In fact, rumor has it, somebody tried to lawyer up immediately the week that Tyler went missing and has yet to cooperate with law enforcement. And that includes South Carolina DNR and or SLED, and also did not even give credible phone records, but instead screenshot some phone records and then edited things in the phone records that were misspelled. And South Carolina DNR didn't bother to go get the real phone records. No, they just took the screenshots that was sent from them instead of doing an actual investigation and going to get the real phone records themselves. Y'all, that's not how an investigation is handled.
No. And SLED knows that our feelings behind that. When I went in that meeting with them, I would describe it as a small suitcase, like a carry-on bag you would take on an airplane, full of everything I printed out, an iPad backed up with stuff. I mean, I took everything I could, and I just couldn't. I just, when I laid it out to them, I was like, "Can you not see that this is a text message, a screenshot sent that was taken in to be credible information about phone calls placed that night?" And they understand that. They see it too. And
Yeah. And Allie
it's
makes a valid point. I was on that jetty rock because Allie and Michelle came to visit me, and they asked if they could walk out there and see the jetty. But what Allie and Michelle didn't realize was how long it was going to take us to walk from Sunset Beach to the jetty. Needless to say, by the time we made it back, they were like, we're never doing that again. Because I mean, y'all, it is a long walk. But let's talk about that. This young man said, "Oh, I was trapped. I was trapped and I couldn't get off the, he had to be rescued." No, 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 no. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Sunset Beach, but that jetty connects to Sunset Beach. And if you walk off that jetty, you can walk right down Sunset Beach. Now, given you're going to have to walk a few miles, but if you keep walking, you're going to be on land. You can
And
walk
he could have
right
walked
to
to the
safety.
inside of it. He could have
He
walked to
sure
Bird
could.
Island and just waited. He had cell phone
Sure
battery.
could.
911 lady said, "How much
Yep,
battery do you have?" He told it. He could have went off of either side of those rocks. You saw Brian walk up those
I
rocks
did.
and down them.
And that was another thing that Allie said. Listen, there's no way that he could not have seen Tyler.
No
I've
way.
walked to the middle. I have stood in every possible, and you and I have done this with Brian. We have stood on that very jetty, and you can see, I mean, it's a clear shot to the other side of the inlet. You can see the other side of the jetty from start to finish. You can see beyond the other side of the jetty. You can see all the way inside the inlet, and you can see all the way to the tip of the jetty, standing up at the very front, like where the island, Bird Island, starts out. You can see clear out into the ocean. There is
Yep.
no visual anywhere that's obscured. It's a total clear. There's no way that he couldn't have seen Tyler. It just doesn't make any sense. And
No.
this is when you and I started sitting down and writing all of these things down, because when you can't make it make sense and law enforcement doesn't give a shit, sometimes you have to sit down and get all of the facts and information down, and hopefully, and like Ron Pope says here, reach out to Trump. Listen, we're going to reach out to whoever we can.
Yeah.
And that's why we have creators that are working together with different subscribers on how to fight exploitation of families. This family has been harassed. This family has been doxxed. This family has been threatened. This family was told that Tyler is in Mexico drinking margaritas, that he was having an affair, that he was on the run for murder. I mean, all kinds of heinous stuff.
Yeah.
And none of that is true. They have been through hell. And that kind of stuff needs to stop. We need more laws in place to make sure that law enforcement is doing their job. The DNR didn't even know what NamUs was. They have no idea.
So sad.
It's and
I mean, that's awful because, I mean, I've said this many times. In North Carolina, it would have been so different. They give you a missing persons report for your loved one that goes missing in the water, just like if they were missing on land. I mean, Jake with the state police over there, the sheriff, he's the one who came out and got the waiters from us, because we were in North Carolina when we found the waiters. I didn't know where we were, but I stayed in touch with him for a long time because I had to share my location with him to show him exactly where we were in the boat. And I never stopped sharing it. And anytime Brian would call me and say, "Shay, there's somebody on Oak Island and they're stranded. It could be Tyler. Can you call that guy and see?" Jake would always answer the phone for me. And he told me from the very beginning, he said, "It's so different here." He said, if Tyler were our case, he would have been put into NamUs right away. We would have started that from day one. And he apologized and said how sorry he was, and he couldn't do anything. Like, he couldn't call up South Carolina DNR and say, "Hey, you need to do this, this, and this," because they're not allowed to do that.
And see, that's what a lot of people don't understand is different states have different laws. How North Carolina handles their missing person investigations is not the same as South Carolina. I feel like their law enforcement and even their natural resource guys have more training than the guys in our state. And this guy from North Carolina, he was so respectful. And he tried to do everything that he could to help you, knowing good and well that Ronnie Floyd and this crew, it gets my blood pressure up
I
every
will
time.
never forget the night that we Tyler went missing, and we started running. You know, we parked the truck at the pier at the pier on the north side, where we go to walk to the north side of the jetties, and I had no idea how far away it was. So we take off running, and I'm like running for 5 minutes, and I'm about to die. And I look at my husband and I said, how far is it from here? And he goes, stay right here. I'm going to get the truck. We're just going to drive it on the beach. Well, none of us knew that it was going to take that long. I mean, it's a 45-minute walk. It's like a 5-minute drive. And we got there, and I thought for sure we were going to go to jail because, I don't know if you're allowed to drive on the beach over there or not, but I didn't care at that moment. I just wanted to find my nephew. And when we got there, all those North Carolina police officers in their SUVs, they were out searching with flashlights and doing everything they could. And I said, I'm so sorry. I said, if we've done anything wrong, I said, I'm Tyler's aunt, and they were so kind to us. They told us to stay there all night and search if we wanted to, right up and down the beach if we wanted to. A very big different experience on that side versus what we got treated like at home.
Definitely. I think one of the other things that really didn't sit with me really well is, do you remember the day that we were out at the boat landing? I'd come out there to check on you guys, and Ronnie Floyd, and what was the other guy's name? I don't know. I can never remember his name. They told y'all about, this was after Wings of Hope said, hey, we have an image, and they wanted to dive on it because they have divers, because that's what they do. They're a search and rescue group that came all the way from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
To help. And they were like, hey, we're here, we're on it, we can dive right now, we can do it. And Ronnie Floyd would not give them permission and told them that if they did, that he would have them arrested. He basically threatened them that if they were to dive on what they had on sonar, that they would be in trouble. And I felt like at that moment, that solidified to me that they wanted credit. And this whole time leading up to this, Ronnie Floyd had told me, as well as others at the boat landing, that he had this whole crew of divers that the state was going to provide, so that in the event that something was found, that this dive team was going to come immediately and dive on the scene. And how many days did we wait? And then we were told that it wasn't there anymore.
Nobody ever came. And you know what? The whole time they spent looking at that tree that was at the very end of the jetties, they claimed divers were coming out then too. But no, I mean, it was not in the FOIA. Who came out and dived? Nobody was diving on anything.
Nope.
They were just
Nobody
feeding us
did a thing.
whatever they thought we wanted to hear. Literally, my mom sat there and she thought that Tyler was whatever they saw it. They said it looked like it had arms. It was a tree with branches. For 2 days they wasted out there. And then when Brad with Wings of Hope had something that looked like a human being on the bottom of the ocean, and he was denied to go down and dive because only DNR was allowed to do it, but they weren't around. I mean, it makes no sense. I will never understand how they can treat a family like this. I mean, just do the right thing, for God's sakes.
I know. Camshaft, it's good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing good. Stacey May, none of it makes sense, but somebody knows. I promise you. I know one person that knows. And that person isn't talking, not even to law enforcement. So that's why we really can't share anything, because we have to let them conduct their investigation. We don't want to interfere with what they're doing. Lauren wants to know, how long did it take them to get DNA for NamUs for Tyler?
Oh, Lauren, I will have to look it up, but I mean, I've gotten all that documented. And I remember the last time that I went down Sunset Beach and we were stopped by a police officer. It was starting to get warm. So it was March, April, somewhere around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Brian took the electric bikes because that is a long walk. I mean, and it was starting to get warm. So we had a drone, an air drone. We had an underwater drone. We had drinks and snacks because we would go out there and search every other day. And she was patrolling the beach, and she stopped us, and she told us we couldn't ride our bikes anymore down to the jetties. And I was like, I even said to her, ma'am, I was like, listen, I said, my nephew, this is his dad. I said, we're trying to find anything we can. We come out here every other day, every chance we get to search. They told us if we were to find anything, it was going to be on the north side. We were so exhausted when that day ended. That's when I said, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. And I got on the phone and I called Ronnie. He didn't answer. And I called him again, and I called him like 5 or 6 times in a row, and he finally answered. And he was like, I'm in a situation right now. I'm making excuses for why he couldn't talk to me. And I turned that phone and I let the wind from the beach blow into it. And I just let him have it. And I told him, I said, I'm tired of this. You have to do something. I said, we've already created Tyler's profile with NamUs. All you have to do is sign it. You just have to get in touch with Catherine from NamUs, and you have to sign it. That's it. Can you do that for us? Oh,
He
well,
didn't want
I'll
to.
have to call you back. It was no big deal to him. But
And
it
it
was
was
somewhere
because,
between the end of March, the beginning of April, before he ever even acknowledged. And I even have Catherine,
yeah.
the head over our NamUs here in this area. She told me, she said, this is not the first time I've had to deal with them in this situation. She said, it's so sad, and I'm so sorry for your family.
Yeah, because I had asked you, is he filed in the NCIC? We need to make him a missing poster. That's how all of this came about.
Yeah.
And you
I
said,
would have never known
I don't,
about it either if it wasn't for you. If you had
I,
not
and I
told me.
Well, I gave you all the resources, and I said, hey, every person, it doesn't matter if they've only been missing for 24 hours. It doesn't matter if they've been missing in the water. It doesn't matter if you have no idea. If you have to report somebody missing, law enforcement has to make an official missing persons report. And that's supposed to be for every state. There is no waiting period. Do you know, guys, that I had told Shay, I gave her the resources. I told her all about NamUs. I told her how we needed to get Tyler into the NCIC. We needed to so she was calling Ronnie Floyd. He didn't want to, address it. And finally, what we found out was that they never even made a missing persons report because Ronnie said that Tyler drowned and that the family needed to get over it and go to
And
church.
go to church. Yep. And
So
you know what?
Shay,
I
talk
recorded
to
all
me
those
about that.
911 calls. Every time I called the non-emergency 911 to find out if Tyler had been put into NCIC, I recorded those. And
Yes.
the women who answered, they were so nice, and they were like, no. And they couldn't believe it themselves. Like, these ladies are answering my 911 call, and they cannot believe that he had not been reported missing into their system.
It's not a lie. Because remember, I told you, I said, I guarantee you that he doesn't have a missing persons report. And sure enough, Ronnie Floyd was like, well, that's because we're pretty sure he drowned.
And
But
it
pretty
doesn't
sure
matter,
is not, there's no evidence.
It doesn't
He
matter.
hasn't been found.
I
Like
told
he's,
him exactly. I told him, I said, it doesn't matter if he drowned. I said, you're the same person who told me that one day his bones are going to wash ashore. I said, how in the hell are we going to know who those belong to if we don't get him into NamUs? Like, that's the kind of person you were dealing with. Like, one day his bones are going to wash ashore and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, well, how the hell are we going to know if it's his bones if we don't get DNA from his parents?
y'all, I mean, I only
It's just
laugh
stupid.
because if I don't, I'm going to get mad.
Yeah, like
Because
that's how dumb he is.
it's just so ridiculous that I have to, I'm laughing, but I'm angry. Because trust me, Shay and I have had some really, really deep, angry conversations about this very subject because this is not acceptable, y'all. This is not acceptable to just tell the family. And y'all, this was in the very beginning. He said, well, we're just waiting for his body to wash up on shore. And I thought, you are so callous with no compassion. And this is what you're out here telling families. Are you kidding me right now? We're just going to wait for him to wash up on shore. And so
Well,
we waited and we
you know,
waited.
the
And
same one that you talk about, I know who you're talking about, and the same
uh,
one I'm saying with the Vietnam stories.
yes,
That same
him.
DNR agent told me that he watched a turtle for a month that was dead go out the inlet and come back in for a solid month. He said he that's how he described me, to me, that's how Tyler's going to come back. He said for a solid month we would go out and we would see that turtle, it was dead. It would float out, it would float back in.
Stop it. This,
And I'm
see how
like,
ridiculous this is. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of his name, and it's probably because he made me so mad. I probably erased it from my mind
KP.
permanently.
I'll just say KP.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Now you
Okay,
know.
now I know. Yes, now I know. Oh my gosh. The 5 Canes, thank you so much for your 4.99 super sticker. They say, "Do you feel any closer to answers today than 2 years ago? Like, has SLED questioned Christian, and is the family able to see Tyler's daughter?" Do you want to answer or comment on any of that?
Do you feel any closer to I for two after 2 years I have my answers. I don't know if they have questioned him. Whenever this first started with SLED, they asked me and my mom to give them a chance. Their boss was there. So there's an agency full of law officers at this meeting. Half DNR, even DNR's attorney, um, the agents from SLED that are working on this, and their boss was there. And he looked at me and my mom and he said, just give us a chance. He said, give us a chance. And we have done that. We are giving them a chance. I have faith in them. I know that they're going to do the right thing. I've talked to the investigator many times. He has been so open. He takes my emails, my calls. Um, I do have faith in them. But I don't know. They can't tell us anything, and that's understandable. And we have to accept that. They have to be able to do an investigation, do it right, and not tell anybody anything because that would compromise it. No, we don't get to see Paisley. We get to see pictures of her. People send us videos. So, not right now. We don't get to see her. And that's very sad.
It is.
It's hard because, my mom was so blindsided by the way that all happened. And I live at the beach. My parents live in Loris, and my mom was keeping Paisley frequently. Like she would take off work and she was letting my mom's a big time worker. Like she works 7 days a week, but when Paisley came along, my mom would do anything to spend time with her. And any chance she got to take care of her, she would. And that very day that Lakeland left, the text messages and the calls between them, my mom said, can I keep her tonight? Me and Papa need some snuggles. And she didn't expect my mom to get off work until later that night. And my mom hustled to get off work early, and she came home early only to find her moving out everything and taking everything that ever belonged to Tyler away from them. It was just a horrible situation, and the baby was crying. My mom went to pick her up, and she wouldn't even let my mom pick Paisley up. And the whole plan for that afternoon was for my mom to keep Paisley. So it was just a big blindside to us. We didn't understand it. But I mean, I'm a mom. I'm not going to fight anybody to make them let me see their child because she must have her own reasons, and she's entitled to that. My parents did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. We were good to her. We loved her.
Absolutely.
we wanted the best for her and we wanted the best for Paisley. But no, we don't get to see Paisley, but we do get to see videos and stuff. And that does warm my heart to be able to see her grow up through the people who care enough to send me that stuff. So,
Right. Pointer Lover, thank you for the $9.99 hashtag justice for Tyler. Absolutely. We're not going to stop. Yeah, SLED has probably questioned more people than DNR. I don't think DNR should have questioned themselves because, I would never want them investigating anything. I mean, it makes me question like how they actually do their job when it just comes to wildlife. I mean, to know that this is not in their territory. This is not their expertise. They don't have any training. And yes, Allie, he is an ass. And I know you're not supposed to curse in the chat, but I'm going to allow it today because I feel like this is where we are. And Camshaft, I remember sitting up all night watching live cameras too, praying that I would see something. And y'all remember all them crazy pictures people were putting in the Facebook groups. This is Tyler under a bridge. I had so many sleepless nights. We went out to Holden Beach. We walked the beaches. Brian and I did some searches. We went back through the inlets. And, of course, there was the time that y'all were on the jet skis. And I think he got the jet ski bogged down with some stuff. You and I have been out there.
2 jet skis.
Yeah.
But you know what? I didn't care. It was a brand new jet ski, and neither of us knew what we were doing. We ran it right into an oyster bed, and it's fixed. It's fine now. I didn't care what I had to do. I was going to do whatever I had to do to try to find Tyler. When everybody left, it was me and Brian, you, close friends, like a handful of people who continued to search for Tyler. Anything, because we need that closure. We need to know what happened to him that day, and we've lived with that for 2 years now.
That's
and
right.
Nobody knows what it has done to us, to our family on a personal level. Like, nobody has seen what has taken place inside of our houses, and the hurt and the pain, when it could all have just been simply taken care of from day one. If it was an accident, it's okay. At this point, we just want to know. That's all. We just want to know. We can forgive if it was an accident, but we just want to know. It's hard. It's so hard to see my brother. He's doing better now. Thank God he is doing so much better. He is in a better place. But you were there today. You saw the heartbreak.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard. People don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do the right thing. It's not hard to be a good person and just do the right thing.
I have a couple of people in this chat right now that are mothers with their children that are still missing. Right here, supporting you right now. And I promise you, I think it's worse to not know where your child is than to know and answer whether they're alive or if they've passed on. If you have that it may not be the closure that you want, but at least you have an answer.
You have to know,
and you don't even have that. And these mothers that are in the chat, Timmy's Legacy and Cherries for You, they understand. They don't get they didn't get the answers that they need. And that is one of the toughest things to have to go through, is the waiting and the not knowing. And today, when we got back to the parking lot, my husband said, I've got to go to the truck. And he immediately went over to the truck. We stood out there and we talked. And when I got in the truck, my husband's going to be mad when I tell y'all this because he doesn't normally tell y'all. But y'all, my husband was just in tears.
He's a good man.
And I said, babe, are you okay? And it tore me up. And he said, I just couldn't take it anymore. He said, I had to come sit up and I'm so angry. I'm so angry that Ronnie Floyd and the South Carolina DNR have messed this case up. And There could have been something really bad that somebody did to Tyler, and will we ever find out the answers because they botched this investigation? He said it will never be enough. They need to lose their jobs.
They
How
do.
can this go on? How can you trust them to do a good job for the state if they have done this to a family? He said,
Not right.
I just can't understand it.
He's a good man, and he's been such a good friend. And to these moms, to the moms who have lost children that they don't know what happened to them, they've never seen them again. Like, I'm not even his mom, and I can't imagine how you feel, and my heart goes out to you. I'm Tyler's aunt. I felt like he was more of a little brother to me, but I can't even imagine how you feel, but I feel it through my mom and my brother.
There's Timothy's legacy, Miss Barbara, right there. Barbara, I really appreciate you being here. She says it's worse, and I know where your child and I know where your child is. I know I feel blessed that I got my son back, unfortunately deceased, but I got to have him back.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
you
so
know,
sorry.
she did finally get the answers. You're welcome, Timmy, and Timmy's legacy. Thank you, Barbara. And earlier, Cherries for You, she was listening. I did see her come in the chat briefly. Her adult son is still missing out in Oregon, and it's been 6 months, and this has been very difficult for her. And there's other parents, and they will come into the chat and still support Miss Christina. Her son is still missing in North Carolina, Aaron Fortner. And without having this closure, I know that's got to be so difficult.
It's so hard, and we all have our own stories and the things that, are unique about each one of them, but the not knowing and the knowing what you know, it just kills you inside. Like, I think about Tyler, and I think about how strong he was and how many chances he had to get a hold of jetties on two sides, two beaches on either side, a bird island in the middle. His boat got stuck on a shoal, and then the 911 call says the guy says he had on a life jacket. So where is he? Like, that is just so hard for us to have to live with every day, not knowing, like, literally, like, there's no way possible he wasn't found. Like, what happened to him? Something bad happened to Tyler out there, and we believe that, and we believe that it's being covered up. And we're never not going to believe that until they prove to us why he was not found. Like, if he had on a life jacket, this boy says it with his own voice on a 911 call. He said he saw him put it on. Then where
Yes.
is he at? You can't tell me that we just come upon his waiters. Like, how does that happen? And then we are around people that are pretending to fit. I mean, you saw the videos.
The boat
How
was
are you
following
out there
y'all,
saying you're looking for Tyler, but you're fishing? And then
and they were everywhere
Josh
y'all were.
Johnson, who does he think he is? We know exactly what he was doing. I mean, something's not right, and it's wrong the way these people have done our family. Like, what do they have? What I want to know is, what are they invested in this for? Like, what? They didn't even know Tyler that we know of. So, who is it that they're doing this for? Those waiters didn't even fit Tyler, they were not his.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of you guys are aware of that. I don't know if we've really ever discussed that in detail because we kind of had to go silent. SLED didn't want us really discussing a lot about the case, but I feel like these things are pretty important. Tyler wears a size
Yeah.
14 shoe, and those waiters, y'all remember the waiters, where his money and all of his cards and stuff were found? Well, it turns out that the waiters were only a size 12, y'all.
And the
And
reason why the person who kept them the day Lakeland moved out, Isaiah, one of Tyler's very best friends, big dude just like Tyler, he could fit in them. So he grabbed them up. Well, he knew once he got a hold of them that they weren't Tyler's because he couldn't fit in them. He wears the same size shoe. And that's whenever he got to talk to Sled about that. There's a lot of stuff that don't add up, and I'm just praying the right thing is done. I mean, if people were out there just to get their 5 minutes of fame, planting duck decoys, that's wrong. If you planted waiters and somehow you put Tyler's wallet in it, you will be found out. It's gonna come after you in some way. You can't do that to people. You cannot mess with people's lives like this. Like this is our life. We have to live without Tyler. He was 22 years old. He was a good person. He had so many people that loved him. And why anybody would want to do this is beyond me. I don't even understand it myself. But whoever done this, they're gonna be caught. It's gonna come out, and they need to be worried.
That's an
I'm not
interesting
worried
point.
about it.
Mike says, no, those were not Tyler's, and he never put his wallet in his waiters. He always put it in his back pocket.
Yeah, and how about this, Mike? You know he didn't have his truck keys. Why would that other boy have his truck keys?
That was
Tyler
something
would have
that,
took his truck keys back. He would have wanted his truck keys back when he got in that boat.
yeah, and that was something that my husband said today because, my husband goes out deep sea fishing. His best friend from childhood, John, comes down all the time, and he's gone out fishing twice in this month. They've been out, and just a couple weeks ago they went out to the jetty, and it was about 6 something in the morning, and the entire jetty out there was probably 15 duck hunters sitting out there in the little river inlet where Tyler and his friend, well, I wouldn't call him a friend, went out there. And he said, I felt sick because I'm just like, did these people not remember what happened to Tyler? And he said, but I said, did you see any of them on the jetty? And he said, hell no. And he said, but the thing that gets me, he said, anytime we go to put John's boat in the water, he said, I always back the boat in. And John gets in the boat and he sits in the boat and I go park the truck. And he said, but when I get back to the boat, I always hand John his keys.
Yeah.
And he said, and we've been best friends. We grew up in church together since we was like 6 years old. And he said, but I would never just hold on to his keys because they're not mine. I'm going to give them back to him. So
yeah.
Why exactly was Christian holding on to those keys? Because that seems weird to me. Why wouldn't he?
Me. I mean, I can't back up a boat trailer because I could never do it in a million years, but I have had my husband get it to where it's backed up, and then I get in the truck to pull it up and pull it forward and park it because I can at least do that. But I always give him his keys when I get back in the boat. It's just, I don't know why, but I just feel like that's weird that he kept Tyler's truck keys.
Yeah, and Mike did say he never even let LD drive his truck, much less someone he just met.
Exactly.
That was interesting that my husband, pointed that out. And I said, I appreciate you sharing that with me because that is a great point. There's just too many crazy things. Remember the drawing that Ronnie Floyd did of Tyler's boat all the way on the other jetty? And then it turns out, though, according to the Life 360, he was all the way on the other side out in the ocean. And I'm like, none of these things match. Like there's so many red flags that don't add up.
It just shows you everything we've been up against. Like, and when you go up against, you can't fight the law, but so much. Like we're powerless, literally. Like if it wasn't for these YouTube lives, the groups making a fuss, I don't think that anything would have ever been done.
Yeah, for sure.
But still, here we are 2 years later, and nothing. But I'm just praying that the right thing will be done. And
I do hope so.
A lot of people don't know that, personally within my family, I have someone who is pursuing their life to be in politics. And I hope that they will be able to make a change. And one day there'll be a Tyler's Law in place because of him. So
I hope that's true. And if you guys see the petition in the chat, we have a Tyler's Beacon Law petition for mandated beacons, and that's something that Shay and I are still wanting to see happen for the state of South Carolina. We would like to see other states. If you live in a state where you have a lot of people that are hunters and fishermen, you never know when your loved one may have an accidental shooting.
Yes.
I mean, we've had a couple of those here every year where a hunter accidentally gets shot, or they get lost, or they may have you never know when something's going to happen.
Yeah, they
I mean,
fall out of tree stands. I mean,
all types of stuff. And if
we've
they
had a
have this
close.
beacon,
My mom had a very close friend that was a client of hers that this happened after Tyler went missing. He was in his tree stand and he had a massive heart attack, and his family kept trying to call him, and they had to go out there and search for him and find that they were able to locate him by his phone, but he passed away right there. But had they not had that on the phone, they couldn't have located him. I encourage everybody who has a loved one that is going out duck hunting, these boys need to wear their life jackets. I don't
they
know
do.
if Tyler really had on a life jacket or not. He said, the boy with him said he did. We have to trust and believe what he's saying is true, right? He said it. Encourage your family to wear a life jacket. It might not look cool, but it'll save your life. Find some kind of GPS device that's waterproof to send with your family. Put their phone in a waterproof case, whatever you can do, because you never
Yes.
want to go through what we are going through.
And listen, these families can tell you things that they have had to figure out the hard way.
Yeah.
And that's how we can try to move these things into play to help people in the future if they ever come into a situation like this. They can have that help. If you have this waterproof beacon and you go underwater, like, you can press the button or it will automatically go off and it will call 911. You can even program it on some of these beacons for up to 5 numbers that it will automatically go off and send a message that something is wrong, and it will automatically transpond your location. When my husband and John go out deep sea fishing, they have beacons. They have beacons that they each can wear, and there is a beacon on the boat that is separate from what comes standard with, the fishing boat. So I think it's important. And of course, my husband's friend signed the petition. He was like, I absolutely believe this is necessary. There was another fisherman that went out of Southport this past year, and he was never located either.
Yep.
And they found his boat, but they didn't find him.
Yep.
And,
that was sad.
that was very, very sad. And once again, he didn't have a beacon, because you need that to be on your person. You need it to be on your person. And this is why, like, Nonsense is another channel that calls out misinformation and disinformation that's going around on social media, the exploitation of families, people using these families and going after them to put money in their pockets. It's horrendous, the things. Shay and I both have been attacked on Facebook by people that are local to our own town.
I know.
And it's been insane. And this has to stop. Like, it's just so crazy that this is a situation that happens time and time again. With every case that I cover, the families get harassed. And the question is if Tyler had on a life jacket, well, number one, how come Tyler has not been found? And number two, where's the life jacket? Because either Tyler or the life jacket is going to show up, and neither one of those things have been found.
That was my number one question when I sat down, because you have to think, like, there's only so much that you can explain or can't explain. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'll listen to that 911 call so many times. And when I sat down with them, I said, So he said he had on a life jacket. So where is he? I had a list of questions I wanted answers to. I handed it over to them. So I'm curious to find out the answer to that question. You know, who messed up or who lied? Like, was he lying? Did he just say that? If he had on a life jacket, why didn't Coast Guard find him? Tyler was very strong. You can ask anybody who knew. Aiden's up here right now. You see, Aiden knew Tyler. Mike Manis knows Tyler. There's a lot of people who knew Tyler, how strong he was. He would have fought for his life. And if he had on a life jacket, that was just an extra layer he had to add to the fact that he would have made it to those rocks or to a beach. He would have never gave up. He would have held on to his boat because it was stuck on a shoal. So somebody's lying. And somebody's going to have to be held accountable for what they did not do right.
Yeah, Aiden says he'll never understand the key situation either.
Yep. Aiden knows Tyler like a brother.
Oh, yeah.
Aiden and Tyler lived together. He can tell you as just as much as I'm telling you, Aiden knows about Tyler.
Mike says his Life 360 is another issue. We have it, and it doesn't just shut off like that.
Yep.
That's true. Patty Cakes, thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. Sending love and support to Shay and family. We love you, and we'll never forget Tyler. All of this makes me furious. Justice for Tyler. Thank you, Heidi. We really appreciate that. So please, if you can, go over and sign the Tyler's Beacon Law petition. We really need to keep pushing this because it's something that's really important for this family. And if you have a loved one that's a hunter or a fisherman, you know, it would be, I mean, you're helping to save somebody's life. That's the way that I see it. Thank you, Barbara, for signing that. Pointer Lover, it says, I'm in Michigan and it happens a lot. Hey, there's cherries for you, whose son Paul Flores is missing. Duchess, wait till you hear what I'm going to share with you. You told me you had an update, so a lot don't add up. I'm sending you a tight hug and positive vibes. We appreciate that so much, Cherries. I will get up with you. We need to catch up for sure. Barbara says, I don't trust in kids' friends anymore. Well, the thing about this guy, Barbara, is that, well, Shay, they
didn't even know each other that well.
Yeah, I mean, because your mama and Brian, like, they pretty much know all the people that Tyler runs around with, and they didn't know this kid, right?
Because Tyler's friends could come and go as they wanted at my mom and dad's house. Like, we knew his friends. My mom especially knew everybody he was friends with, and this was a very short friendship that had just started. Like, and even Lakeland told me she didn't like him. She said that he came into their life so quick, and it was like, let's go here, let's go there. He was constantly dragging Tyler to go do something, and you know, she's pregnant. She didn't want her husband being gone all the time. So this is just what I'm telling you, that she told me that she didn't have a good feeling about him. In fact, after Tyler went missing, Lakeland came to us and she said that he wanted to talk to her, and she said, I'm not talking to him. And I said, you have to go talk to him. I said, if he wants to talk to you, go talk to him. And she wouldn't do it. She went to eat at a Pizza Hut one night, or Pizza Inn one night in Conway, and he was in there, and she had to leave because she didn't want to see him or be around him. And I can understand that. I mean, that night I wanted to talk to him, and he said very little, and I walked away. But after that, my husband, he tried to talk to them, the dad, and you know what? I would not reach out to them if my own life depended on it at this point, because it's too late. They should have done the right thing from the get-go, and they didn't. And anybody who stays silent like that, I mean, come on, let's think about it. Why would you not talk to a family? Your son was with a friend, and your son's alive, and that other kid is missing, and you won't talk to the family? Who the hell does that?
It makes no sense to me.
Mike,
and it didn't make any sense.
Mike's on here. Mike knows Tyler just like I do. He can tell you how hard it is to turn a race car around those curves, how the upper body strength it takes. I mean, swimming ain't got nothing on that. Tyler could have swam and saved his life. Something else happened to Tyler. That's just my opinion. That's what I believe. Whether it was an accident or what, I do not believe Tyler drowned out there. He would have saved his own life. He would have fought for his life. He was a fighter.
Yes. And the cold didn't bother him. We talked about that today while we were out there freezing. What did you tell me about Tyler and what he would be doing?
You know what's so funny is that I had to, I had to let Sled know that I had control over Tyler's iCloud. I had all of his photos off of his phone. I let them know that I did get access to that, and I wasn't ashamed of it. And whatever they wanted to do to me for that, they could do it to me, that they could charge me with whatever. But me and my brother gained access to that. There is a video on his phone that made me laugh and validated my feelings greatly. They were all out duck hunting in Georgetown in January, and they're all standing there waiting for a duck. Tyler's in his waders, the other guys are too, and you can hear Tyler say, "My God, I am hot as F." And
You told me, you said Tyler would be out here in short sleeve shirts. I mean, if he was in that water, she said, it's not like the cold water would affect him, like it does
yeah,
other people. That's just
he was just hot natured. That's who he was. But when he got the adrenaline, people just have to understand him. You were at the racetrack that night. Like, you
Mhm.
saw the energy. Like, that's what he was all about. Like, he
Yeah,
loved
I have a
that
picture.
energy, that adrenaline. If his adrenaline got pumping, see right there.
There's
He
Brian and Shay and me in front of
Yeah.
his car.
Yep.
And then we
He
all
was
had this
hot
picture.
natured, and that energy that would have came out of him in that water, he would have been unstoppable. People who know him know that to be the truth. He would have never just gave up, and there's no way. He had too many options, and he was too strong.
Yeah, I see Mike in chat saying shorts and it'll be 30 degrees.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And do you remember this?
Yes. I was so proud of Brian. He did such a good job.
He did. And that was such a
Yeah,
beautiful picture that they gave you.
it was. It was a good night to honor
It
him.
really,
He would have been very proud of that.
yep.
He
And
loved racing. He loved his racing family. That
that's
was
a
us
great,
on 4th of July.
I like that picture of y'all too.
Yeah, that was the day that we took my golf cart to the beach, and he came back with his buddies to my house, and we all went swimming.
You said he could always make you laugh. There's
Oh,
him and
he
Reed.
always made me smile. Anybody who knew Tyler knew that no matter what was going on, he was smiling. If he got mad, he got mad, but it didn't last long. But he would always he wanted everybody to be happy.
Aiden said,
See, Mike said his race suit burned him up.
Yep, yep. And then Aiden said, I share with my buddies all the time about Tyler stripping to his boxers after we hunt. I have a video of us riding home, windows down, Tyler in a t-shirt, boxers, and boots.
Yep. Thank you,
Oh.
Aiden, for sharing that.
Cassan says, you can't convince me that he drowned.
Me either.
And the 5 Cane says, I hate to say this, but I never believed he was in the water. Well, there's a lot of us that actually believe the same thing.
It's so hard because, whenever I first heard the 911 call from the person that was with him, I got struck. I was like, oh my God. I started crying immediately. I thought it was Tyler calling 911. So I don't know. Sometimes I wonder so deeply if Jimmy and Brandon, the phone calls were so short. Maybe I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing that makes me believe that he was out there in that water, because I trust that Jimmy and Brandon would know that, and That's my only thing that makes me know that he probably was out in the water, but what happened after that, I don't know.
Mandy Brown said, I said that from the beginning. Maybe someone else would have given up. Tyler was built different. It was hard to describe if you didn't know him, but if you did, you do.
That's right.
Mike said, try sleeping in a race car trailer with. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh.
Stacy doesn't believe he was in the water either. A lot of people that I talked to have really changed their mind, you know, after when you start finding out things as things progress, the more information that comes in, you start to have a change of heart about how all of the pieces fit together.
And the wind blowing out there. I mean, if he was in distress or whatever, you know, like the wind blowing into the phone, how do we know, like, somebody couldn't change their voice and just scream in the phone that they needed help? And they might not have, they might have had his phone. Like, I mean, we just don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. And I hope that we can
Yeah.
get these answers that we all are trying to figure out.
Yeah. And, you know, we had the vigil for him,
Yeah.
which really went so well. And I was
It
so
did.
grateful for the North Myrtle Beach Police Department, the North Myrtle Beach Rescue Squad coming out to support.
Yeah.
And we also had Wings of Hope there.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, I'll say DNR was there, but I mean, I don't really think that would have made a difference.
Preacher Jimmy, my
Preacher Jimmy
wonderful preacher.
and there's me in my famous camo jacket.
And you deserve so much credit because you led that whole entire thing. I could have never done that without you.
I wouldn't say all that. I just tried to put some things together. I wouldn't say that I led anything.
I think you did. You
But I
helped
think it was a
with that
very
sign
difficult
and
day, you know, for all of you. And
yeah.
I just remember everybody gathered up there, and when I look back on some of these pictures now, I don't know, it's just so unbelievable. I did also want to share this one. This was the duck calls
Yeah.
that everybody did for Tyler, and I really thought that was such a wonderful thing
Yes.
to have them do the duck calls.
And the race car they brought out to.
Yep, and the race car.
That was wonderful. Just
That
things that
was,
he would have loved so much. And
yes.
if he could just only see how much he was loved. I mean, I know he knew he was loved, but our family could not have felt more blessed to know of all the people who came out to show their love and support.
Yeah, Mike says, we don't believe he ever made it to the water, but we know a lot of the pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you,
a lot of
Mike.
people believe that. And we do appreciate you being here, Mike.
Mike and his wife have been very supportive and helped us a lot through this.
Yep. And that's where I met you, Annette. That's right. I appreciate you supporting. It's hard to believe that it's already been 2 years. Cindy Caton asked, was a land search done?
There was a lot of land search done by volunteers, mostly a lot of these guys in this picture you see here. Jimmy, is our family. He actually had his dog with him. They walked in waders up to their waist to the point they were in mud that he had to pick his dog up and put him on his back. Aiden showed up. He came from the military, let him go so he could help search. So yeah, there was a lot of land covered.
Yeah, Brian and I went and did searches. My husband and I, we went to Holden Beach. We went to Ocean Isle Beach. We tried to search back in the inlets like Lockwood Folly. We went all through there. lots of boats. While we were out searching on the land, we would just see boats going back and forth, people that were putting in the time, because I don't know if you guys remember, but the Coast Guard only searched for
48 hours.
well, I think it was actually less than 48 hours.
Yeah. They gave him like a few extra hours based on the fact that we told them of his strength and whatever, but being in that room that afternoon when they told us that they were calling off the search, it's like you don't even listen to what else they say. All you hear is that they're going to call it off, Brian went bananas. Of course, he rightfully had that to do, and he went storming out, and I just begged them to continue to search, but that's another thing that needs to be changed. They have an algorithm, they put the age, the weight, and this, that, and the other, and they only search for so long. But the guy that went missing recently, the guy that that he went missing right off the coast here, a fisherman, the Coast Guard gave up, but then a fisherman later found his boat. The Coast Guard didn't even find his boat. So that's
right.
something else that has to change. Like, who makes these rules that they can only search for so many hours? That's ridiculous. And then you find out that the man's boat was found by somebody who was just fishing out there. That's not okay.
It was just out there floating. And I'm like, how is it that the Coast Guard searched, but y'all didn't see his boat?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense, because y'all was just out here and here's the boat. I mean, it really disheartens me, because I'm like, the fly pattern or whatever it is that they've got going on, I just feel like that the coordinated search effort needs to be redefined. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then remember, Brian, we were talking about how we really wanted to get some more help. And it was at this vigil that Brian, this is when he told me that he had called and was going to get remind me who they were.
The Civil Air Patrol.
Civil Air Patrol, that was it.
And he also had a random person who had their own private plane drive him around for a day and a half. And that was all videoed, and I have those videos. I'll have to send them to you, but I wish I knew who that was, because I wanted to thank them. But he got up in that plane with them, and they drove all over that area. And he had his binoculars so he could look to see if he could see anything. There was so many volunteers that came out to help, and the people who loved Tyler the most, they really showed up, and I'll never forget that. Our family will never forget that. Ashley, I love you too, Ashley. Love you, Charles. They know Tyler. You still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Had to reset my microphone.
Okay, I was responding to Ashley and Charles, just saying I love them too.
Yeah, Charles and Ashley, we do appreciate you being here, and we appreciate all that you've done to support Tyler and his family, because there's people that came from all over North and South Carolina and even beyond to take time, even if it was just for a weekend. Some people came every weekend and even took time off of work to come back and help to search for Tyler. And that's a lot more than I can say that DNR did.
Yeah, Charles and Ashley, they searched so much land. They went all over that area on foot.
Yeah, I remember. And we appreciate that so very much.
Yes.
It really takes a village when you have a crisis like that. And it's all hands on deck. But not everybody wants to help. You know, some people are there to hinder. Some people are there to cause derision and problems. And, well, we all found out about that the hard way. So,
some people are there just to get their 5 minutes of Facebook fame, which is so weird and disgusting to me. I don't understand it, but
Your case is not the only one. I promise you. I know that anybody that's been around for this case and that saw all the Facebook fighting and craziness, I'm sorry to inform you, but if you go to Sebastian Rogers' case right now, don't go over there and join the Facebook group because it's worse than what went on in the Tyler Doyle case. So my advice is y'all just steer clear. If you're going to join those groups, don't go typing in there because you're going to find yourself in a war. And it
yeah.
happens in all of these cases. And to
Well,
see
people are
some of
just cruel.
some people are, and I was watching more Facebook posts today, and it had my blood pressure up. I was fixing to have to take people to church. I was getting so upset. I was like, if I don't log off this damn app, I'm gonna lose it. And that's why y'all don't ever see me. Listen, I watch y'all in the Facebook group, but I only post when I have something that I need to say. But
Yeah, Mike and Jen, they were with Brian a lot. They walked all over the place with him searching for Tyler. I'm just reading the comments now. Two boys still think.
thank you for being here, Misty.
Thank you, Misty. You're such a sweetheart.
Ashley says, and if all that stuff was supposedly found of Tyler's was out there at the time of the accident, the Coast Guard would have found it because those things don't sink, they float.
That's right.
That's
right.
exactly right. That when you showed me the video of the boat that was following you guys around, when you sent me the video of the police coming up to get the waiters and all of that, and then I was like, but who is this other boat? And you told me you were like, well, they were watching us, and it was
We kept
really
running
strange.
into them all day long, and it was
Yeah,
like,
and
I didn't
I was
think
like,
anything of it, honestly. I didn't know who
yeah,
the hell they were.
and I
But
don't
there
know,
was
it
a
just seemed weird to me, and that's
You
why
remember
I
the
asked.
pelican? Like, I only recorded when we came up on them because there was one dude was fishing, and I was like, they're just out here fishing. I had no idea who they were. But the
Right.
pelican, he was just kind of just hanging out around, and we were way out in the ocean, and it was so calm that day. And then I later found out who this guy was, and I thought, God help, this is crazy. Like, how in the world does it turn out that we are just running into Dylan Johnson, finding out later on, because I screenshot every single thing I see on Facebook from day one I've got it. So I knew exactly where Josh Johnson was at the same time we found those waiters.
He was out in
He
front of
was
y'all.
he was out in front of us closer inland, and then we've got this other Johnson guy. I don't know who the hell these people are. I don't know if they're kin or not. To this day, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know that those waiters don't fit Tyler, and there's no way in hell that 70 plus people in boats and the Coast Guard, DNR, North Carolina, South Carolina, everybody looking, missed those waiters. That is not possible.
And
They were
these
planted
decoys,
out there, and they were those decoys. Tyler would have never took duck decoys out in the ocean. That's just stupid.
and the
Nobody does
decoys that
that.
they found, there was never in when they turned them over. I think some of those decoys didn't even belong to him.
Well, remember, I asked him, I said, very nicely, I messaged him and I said, whatever happened? What did you do with them? Because, I mean, in my mind, when you find something that might belong to a missing person, what would you do with it? You turn it over to law enforcement. He says, I turned it over to the family. I was like, well, what family? The mother's side. I'm like, okay, well, he got all defensive and all upset. What I think it boils down to is I know those were not Tyler's decoys. I've talked to a duck hunter who's been out there. Charles, he can tell you, he's talked to me about this. You don't take ducks out in the ocean. What, I mean, how the hell do you get them back if you let them go? You have to chase them down? That makes no sense. If they were on a rope, I could understand, but he was randomly finding them all over the place? No, that's bullshit.
Thank you for being here, Five Canes. I'm so glad that you joined us tonight. They say they'll continue to pray for you and your family, Shay.
Thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you
your
so
support.
much.
I'm Annette says she remembers when people were thinking he was spotted in Wilmington. My daughter and I went running straight to the Riverwalk. I remember all of that. He could be up and washed in the Cape Fear River. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know what y'all were doing. Josh Johnson's not even a professional search and rescue person. Law enforcement's just letting these people do whatever they want and not handling the situation professionally. All of anything that you find involving a missing person should not be turned over to the family. It should be turned over to law enforcement, and it should be kept in an evidence locker
Right.
until
Yeah.
there's something comes of it. Just like that firearm that Christian had on the Jetty,
Right.
it should have never left the scene because, number one, he was breaking the law to begin with.
Yeah.
And for that firearm to leave there, how do we know there wasn't an accident with the firearm?
We will never know. That's the problem. We will
That is
never
the
know.
problem.
And with Annette saying that, I remember when people were sending me messages about that, and I immediately got on the phone. I'm glad she brought that up because that's another call I recorded. I recorded calling the Wilmington Police Department, explaining to them what was going on, who I was, and I said I need to get in touch with somebody who can go down there and check the water. I mean, that took I think I was on the phone with him until 3 in the morning making calls, trying to make sure that that was not Tyler. And I have every bit of that recorded, so I'm glad she brought that up. That's another situation that's been recorded. And you know what? They were very helpful. They stopped what they were doing and they sent somebody out to go check on a boat, and they were out with flashlights.
Yeah. And of course, you can see, I just put up a couple of those comments. Ashley says, I've hunted with Tyler a long time ago. That's not Tyler's weights. He used D weights, not mushroom weights.
Yeah.
And then Camshaft says, he was putting them out. JJ, he was a distraction. That's kind of what I felt like, because
That's
if
right.
you find something, why didn't you go turn it into law enforcement so that it could be vetted and they could show them to all the family, not just one side, but he could verify it with his father. And because his daddy would know if those belonged to him or not, and his brother, but that didn't happen. And so then you've got all these rumors circulating that doesn't help the investigation. But you know what? There was never an investigation.
No.
That was the whole problem.
And you know what? I'm glad Camshaft brought that up, because there was a post that he made, and he said, it was more or less like, oh, we think we found him. And that is when my mom had to have the Horry County police officer, Mr. Jeff, contact him and tell him, listen, you cannot be putting this stuff on Facebook, because it was all bullshit anyway. So he posted on Facebook, and I've got a screenshot of that, about we pretty much saying we think we found Tyler. And he called him, he said, you can't do that to this family. Like, that they're already on a emotional roller coaster. He said, you've got to stop this. So we had to have the cops contact this kid to make him stop. So maybe that's why he doesn't like me. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
but he was full of shit, and I don't believe for 1 second that anything he found was Tyler's.
Mike said, I made Tyler's weights. Thank you for sharing that. Melissa, so good to see you. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the Dutch Bus Fare Card. We're glad to have you. Appreciate you so much. Melissa says, one of my things was, why would DNR let Josh lead a search when he was not qualified, but yet they would let the one man wouldn't let the one man drag the ocean for Tyler? It doesn't make sense to me.
That they didn't let him lead anything. He was out there on his own. DNR did not, they don't even know who he is. I think that kid, like somebody else said, was a distraction, or either looking for his little bit of fame that he was looking for. I don't know. I don't know him. But I do know that DNR wasn't letting him lead anything. He did take Wings of Hope on his boat one time, but that's because Wings of Hope didn't have a boat. until my cousin Shane brought his center console and they used it to go search for Tyler.
Wow. Great
Yeah.
question, Melissa. Thank you so much. And she said, yes, she feels like he was a distraction as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I did give Shay a bunch of flyers today. And this is a picture of us
Yeah.
together and holding Tyler's flyers. And I am going around and tearing down some old flyers and replacing them with some new ones. These actually held up a pretty good amount of time with all the bad weather and stuff that we've had. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be replacing some of those, and we're going to be hanging them up in some new places to make sure that we can get his face seen, because Tyler has not been declared deceased. He is still considered
No.
missing, and SLED is still actively investigating. So we're going to continue to plaster his face everywhere. If you are local and you want to pick up some flyers because you want to hang them around Loris or Aner or here around the beach or wherever you are, let me know. You can get in touch with me. If you know Shay, you can get in touch with her. I gave her a bunch of those flyers. And if we need to print up more, then we will. And
We
I'm
will.
just hoping that maybe SLED is going to have some information. I really felt like after 14 months, they would have something to share. But I did make a little video today that I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about today. Also, I wanted to thank all the members for being here, because today I bought Linda and Shay flowers when I went to meet the family today. And these flowers are on behalf of the Dutch bus.
Thank you.
And so I just wanted to let you know, members, that this was something that we did for the family, to let them know that we care about them and that we're here to help them continue to show them support as they continue to seek justice and answers for what happened to Tyler. And I appreciate all of your support, because it allows me to do things like this for families.
Thank
And
you.
that means so much to me, that I can pay it forward to my wonderful sis, because I love you, sis.
I love
And
you too.
like, you're my
And
family,
oh, we are family
and
for life, forever.
I mean, you just live down the road from me. Like, this is my community. This is my home. These are my people. This case is so very important to me, because Tyler should be here with his family.
He should
He
be
was
here.
just a young man starting his life.
Yeah.
And I feel like somebody took it away from him. And I
Yeah.
just want to know that he gets the justice that he deserves, because his family is suffering right now, not knowing the answers.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so
you know that
much.
I'm here to do whatever you get. Annette, of course, you just let me know if you want to meet over here at Archie's bar across from me, or you can
Yes.
come to my house, whatever. We can meet up somewhere. You just let me know. You can email me. My email's
Yes.
at the bottom of the screen.
Annette, the more we can get, we want more in North Carolina. I mean, Jake told me that if Tyler was in the water, there would, the more likely chance that anything would wash up would be on the north side if he was in the water. So I would love it if you would take some of those flyers and put them up anywhere you can.
Aiden says, why weren't more people involved interrogated? The other person with him and the one who took the firearms away, at bare minimum, they should have been interrogated. That's
We
a
hope
great
they are
question.
doing that now, Aiden. That's what I'm working on. I'm fighting very hard. I had to go in that room and explain to them exactly what you just asked, and I had to ask that question. And I promise you, buddy, for your brother, I will make sure that every question we have is going to be answered.
I promise you, Shay will knock on every door. She will call every phone. She will put it on them. I have heard her go crazy on people. So she'll do
Yeah.
whatever it takes. And
I'm
that's
not
why we're
afraid
here
to
to
go in there
support.
with the cops, and when I got in there, I was like, listen, I had a notebook. It had like 10 pages in it. This is what I want to know, and here you go. Do your job, and I'm waiting. But what Aiden just asked, that is exactly one of my questions that I ask.
Perfect. And Marianne Horn, thank you so much for being here. Marianne asked, was land searched from Loris to North Myrtle Beach?
No. No, it was not. Mm-mm.
Do you feel that it's possible that Tyler is somewhere between Loris and North Myrtle Beach? I'm just asking. You don't have to answer that, but
Who, me?
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Do you think it's possible?
oh, I think it's possible, yeah. I mean, if you want to know exactly how I feel like something happened out there, and it could have been an accident, more than likely, and somebody got scared. And what do you do when you get scared and you're dumb? You call somebody to come help you, and I just have a horrible feeling that Tyler was taken away from there and he was put somewhere
Mm,
else, and that's just my opinion. And I am entitled to my opinion, because
you
guess
are.
what? We don't have anything else to go off of. You can't just say somebody drowned that close to the beach. They act like he was out 10 miles. He was within eyesight of the ocean shore. There's no way that he would not have came ashore, or something would have been found. That's just not how it works. So I don't believe that Tyler, I don't believe his body is in that ocean. I don't.
Yeah. I don't either. I think something else happened, which Ashley, that is another great statement. And maybe SLED should look into the Life 360 route. There was no break in the route at the boat landing. And
Yep.
as you guys know, the boat landing is in my backyard. I check it every day. I have a candle in my kitchen window that I light, and I have lit every night since the night that Tyler went missing. And it is burning right now in my kitchen window.
Thank you.
And
Thank
it
you.
will continue to be lit every single night until we have answers.
Thank
Um,
you.
and that's a great point, Ashley. Maybe someone was waiting for that phone in another boat and took it to the jetties.
That's a question I asked Ashley. I asked about the Life 360, because if you have that, app, and you have a question, if you log on, like I tried to go as a personal person who has that app to get that information, I couldn't. But whenever I went and spoke with SLED, they said that's a different story when it comes to law enforcement. They can get that information. So they reassured us that they would be able to access that, told us not to worry about the phone records being lost, because there is no time limit on when they can get them. So
Thank you, Sherry, for becoming a member. I appreciate that so much. We're going to try to get answers for Paul, too.
yes.
Don't give up hope.
Yeah, don't
And
give up
as you
hope.
can see here, there's all types of different situations. There's places that have good law enforcement that are doing all they can to try to help families. And then there's other instances, and just like in your son's case, Cherry, you're not getting a lot of help from law enforcement for whatever reason that it is. And in this case, law enforcement doesn't even know how to do it. They didn't even want to give him a missing person report. They just
No.
wanted to say, well, he drowned. You need to get over it and go to church. I
Yep.
have never in all my life been so mad as the day that I heard that leave Ronnie Floyd's mouth. And I said,
No.
if I don't turn around and leave right now, I'm going in cuffs. So
Yeah, it was awful to have to deal with. And, there's another family who is going through something that happened here in South Carolina. Their son was
thank you.
basically chased down in South Carolina. It was a road rage type incident that the kid just basically ran from them, and the guy continued to pursue him. I guess you call it brandishing your weapon or whatever. So he kind of
Yes.
warned him, like, back off of my truck. That's all he did. He lives in North Carolina. The guy who shot and murdered him continued to chase him down, heading towards North Carolina, says he feared for his life. He shot and killed that kid, and that kid was trying to just get home, and he got away with it. So far, he's not been charged with anything, and that's another case that is very close to my heart here in South Carolina. Like, nobody should be allowed to chase another person down and pretend like they're scared. If you're scared of somebody, what do? You don't chase after that person, you run from them. He chased him down and he murdered him. And that
And he thinks
family
he's going to get
has,
away with it.
I pray to God that
Hmm.
something happens and the right thing is done, and
I
he
hope
has to
so.
pay for what he did, because you don't, if you're
Yeah,
afraid of somebody, you don't chase them down and shoot and kill them. And
that
everybody
happens.
can go in and look into Scott Spivey's case here in South Carolina and what happened to him, and support that family as well, because that's become dear to my heart. His family, he was a good person. His family is suffering, just even though they got to bury Scott, they are literally suffering because he was gunned down, and they have no justice for him. So look into that too. I want to be an advocate for him while I'm on here as well, and their family.
Okay. Well, I will definitely, you'll have to give me the scoop on everything. And maybe I know AJ probably knows all about it. I'll have to
Yeah.
have her up and we'll have
His
to take a look at
sister
his case and get
his
that
sister
information out there.
his sister is fighting as hard as I am for her brother. And actually, Mark Tinsley, the attorney for Scott's case, was also the attorney who went up against DNR in Charleston for Mallory Beach, who was killed by Murdoch's son, who was drunk, and DNR covered it up, never said that he was intoxicated when she died. Um, so that's another thing that people just need to know. Like, all around DNR in different places, they can't just keep getting away with this.
I agree.
So
And
now
I know a
she
little bit
has,
about it, so I will definitely look into it. And I'm
yeah,
glad you brought that back up because I've had so many other things going on, but um, I still believe that he needs to be held accountable. I mean, because, well, we just happen to know the person that
right. He could have
did
just
it.
went home. He could have went home,
Yep.
went to Lourdes, stayed in South Carolina. Instead, he followed him and shot and killed him and his friend, and that's not okay. But he got away with it. That's South Carolina for you. I feel like they will
Okay.
have answers. I feel
Yeah.
like they will too, Melissa.
Yeah. Me too.
I
This
trust
is,
and believe in them. We do.
you know, I know a little bit about Scott Spivey's case, but not enough to shake a stick at. I know the person who's guilty.
Yeah,
And yeah, I do, unfortunately. And I just really haven't, gotten too deeply involved, but I try to just, of course, you see it in the newspaper, and I've seen AJ talk
right.
about it, and I really would like to, give that case more exposure. And if you
Yeah.
think that his sister would like to talk about his case, to give it some more exposure, have
She's doing a lot on her own, but she gave me permission to be able to fight with along with Tyler. She said, if you want to say anything about Scott, bring it up. She's busy, with the attorneys and all that stuff.
I
She's head over.
understand.
Her brother put her over his estate, so she gets to be the one
Right.
who gets to fight for him. And she's just suffering just like we are, and fighting a fight that's so hard to fight against law enforcement, because he's never been found guilty, but now they're going after him personally. It's kind of like the OJ situation. Everybody knows he killed his wife, but he didn't go to jail for it. So the family of Ron Goldman, they sued, and Nicole Simpson's family sued. They didn't get anything, but at least they got that chance to. He got found guilty in that part, and it's all about being held accountable. And if any way they can get some kind of justice, I just pray that they can.
Yeah, Stacey May, that's another case. Heather Elvis. I've
Heather
talked about it
Elvis.
on my channel. I mean, that happened right down the road for me and Shay.
Yep.
And that case is, I mean, y'all, let's face it. I mean, in my opinion, allegedly, I think that Sydney's guilty.
Of course. I mean, and then they just got him in jail for kidnapping. Like, oh,
Because they need solid evidence, and that in order to have that, they really need to find her in order
I
to
wish they
solidify
could.
that. And I'm telling you, there's too many swamps, too much water around here. People go missing all the time, and sometimes it's not from their own choice.
I know, and
And
these two
this was
sick
such a sad
individuals,
case. Yes.
like how could they do that to somebody? Like, why do you have to take a person's life? Like, they're gonna sit in jail forever. Like, what's the point? Like, why would you do that to a family? I feel so sorry for Heather Elvis's family. Like, they've had to.
Yeah.
Lord knows, it's only been 2 years for us. How it's been so long for her family.
My husband knows her parents, and he said every time he goes down there to see them, he said it's just something that's missing. You can
Yeah.
just tell that they're so exhausted from just not having the answers,
Yep.
and just trying to fight to get justice and to keep her name alive.
Yep.
This is one of the reasons, another reason why I have my channel, because I take my situation and I want to pay it forward, because these people don't have a voice. Their families have to continue to go through this day after day, and they have nobody helping to keep factual awareness, to keep their name alive, to keep dignity and respect on their name.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. It takes a group of us that want to see justice for these families, but also
Right.
be there to just support, not to harass people. And yeah, Brittany Drexel, that's another case. I was so thankful that they finally got that guy.
Me too.
Because that was really scary, y'all.
Yeah.
And January is Human Trafficking Month here, and Myrtle Beach is still number 3 in the state of South Carolina, next to Richland County and Greenville County, South Carolina. We got to stay vigilant, but we
Yes,
also
you
have
do.
expectations from law enforcement that no matter what the circumstances, no matter the color of our skin, no matter how much money we have, no matter
Yep.
if we're elderly or if we're a child or a young person, somebody loves these people. These
Yep.
are people's family members, and their life matters.
It
There's
does.
not one that's more important than the other. And
That's
I feel
right.
like these people need to be treated with respect and dignity, and be considered that they're valued and that their
Yeah.
family member's life matters.
Yep. And if you have a daughter, you have to be very vigilant for her, and just make sure that you protect your girls. I mean, I have a boy and a girl, and it's just I find it hard protecting both of them. Like, I'm so scared about everything involving anything they do in life. But when I look back on the cases between Heather and Brittany, and the people don't realize it, but young girls and women are at a disadvantage when it comes to a predator. So you have to be vigilant for your young daughters.
Yeah. Yes, Shayla.
Yeah.
That was who we were talking about. And he's a business owner here, not far from my house. In fact, just like maybe 3 miles from my house. It makes me so uncomfortable. I will never go there. Not ever, ever, ever. But I do want to play this video from today. And I did edit out that one little part. So I'm going to go over here and share my screen so that you
Okay.
guys can take a look and watch this video with us. It's a short video from today because, again, it has been 2 years, the anniversary of Tyler going missing. And I just appreciate you guys being here to join me and Shay for this conversation because it's been a long time since we've done this. But I do appreciate you, sis, coming up. And
I appreciate you more than you will ever know. I love you so much. I love everything you've done to help for our family, to fight for Tyler. I could never have done this without you. I love everybody who comes on this page and supports our family, our Facebook page. You have no idea, deep down from our hearts, how much it helps. Like, I have the deepest gratitude towards people I don't even know, and I really do appreciate it. And please continue to share Tyler's story, and do me a favor and call your local congressman. If you live in South Carolina, make a call and advocate for Tyler. You can do that. They have to answer your call. They have to write it down. Let them know how you feel about what happened to Tyler and how our family was treated. They have to do something about it. So the more calls that we get in to our local congressman, no matter what county you live in or what sector, make that call. You can even call the Senate and make a phone call directly to your senator, and they have to answer that call. So do that for Tyler, in the state of South Carolina, if you live here, and maybe we can make a change.
absolutely. And if you don't live in South Carolina, make a call anyway. Send an email and let them know that you are following this case and you want to know that this is being handled. And if
Yes.
you live in another state, you should consider reaching out to your own legislative body, whether it's, if you have a representative that's local to you, reach out to your governor, reach out to your
Yes.
congressperson, your Senate, whoever your seats are in the state where you live, and advocate for your own community and advocate for your state,
Yes.
because this isn't just happening in South Carolina, guys. This is happening all across the United States and the world.
Yep. I spent 6 weeks in DC this past summer, and I'm going to be there again this coming summer, 6 weeks. And I've learned a lot about lawmaking and what it takes to get laws passed. And I know it takes a lot of people to make calls, emails, because they have to look at it. They have to hear it. If we all do that, we can make change.
And that's really what it takes. Like I said, it takes a village. It takes a village of us together to stand up for what's right. I'm wanting to go with, hopefully I can drag Michelle and Nonsense and a few other people to CrimeCon, because I would like to hopefully, have an exhibit. That's my goal, to have a 501c3, where we can get resources to help other families that can't get a PI, that can't get help, that can't get search and rescue,
Yep.
that needs resources, that are not getting the help that they need because they don't have the money, to make sure that we provide them with everything they need, including blip billboards, that we have a 501c3. And, we can put together something where we can educate people at places like CrimeCon and other platforms, about what exploitation looks like when it comes to families that have missing persons or other tragedies, people that are profiting off of that, while all the while harassing the family, making threats to the family, going real life on the family. You know, also, and you know, and then the subset of why we need these laws in place about helping to get, like, NamUs, the DNA is so backed up. You know, I have Sharon Johnson who's been waiting 18 months to get this DNA match for her
And
daughter.
that's not okay. That is something the government needs to do better for. I mean,
Right.
call
And
about
so
that.
that is something that's federally funded. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, these are things that I feel like it's going to take a village of us together to educate more people about why we need to push for these resources. We're sending all this money to other countries. We're supporting all of putting money here, putting money there, but we need more money. We need more resources, not just at a state level, but at a federal level that's going to help victims and their families and get them advocates, get them everything that they need in order to
Yeah.
help find their loved ones and get
I agree.
justice.
Yes.
And we can do that together.
We
We
can.
can do that together. And I know that I have your support. We've talked about this in the past, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. I think more people need to know about the fight that you've had to go through to get the answers and justice for your nephew, because no family should ever have to battle the things
No.
that you've been through. And every time that I see your mother cry, it breaks my heart.
You saw that today, and you guys, when you see this video, you're gonna see my mom. People don't know this, and unless you knew us as a close family. Like, my mom and Tyler were like this. He loved my mom just as much as she loved him, and if anybody is suffering truly, she's lost her baby boy. My brother lost his best friend. Reed lost his brother. I lost what I feel like is my baby brother, because that's what I consider Tyler as. We have lost the most amazing person that I could ever imagine being in my life. And anything that anybody can do to help our family, we are going to be forever grateful for it. Thank you all very much for everything you've done.
I'm going to play this video. Let me share my screen. And please don't forget to go sign Tyler's Beacon petition. I just dropped it in the chat. If you guys can help us get more signatures, and copy the link and share it out on your social media platforms for Shay. It would really mean a lot, because this petition is very important to us. Because if Tyler had a beacon, we might be able to know where he was at, because law enforcement didn't do their job. This could save somebody's life in the future. Now, y'all going to have to let me know if you guys can't hear this, okay? So I'm going to start. Nonsense, I know. It might take us 10 years, and you might, wait a minute, you might end up in jail before we get the laws to change. Listen, we're not going to give up, and I've got bail money. And if I don't have bail money, the neighbor's got bail money. Thank you so much, Nonsense, for adding that petition. It means a lot. Thank you. No sound, you can't hear it? Did you say there was sound or no? No sound. Okay. Let me go
no
check
sound.
something. Okay. We might go to the moon. Hold, please, while we go to the moon. I was waiting for y'all to tell me. Because I said we might go to the moon if y'all don't tell me if we have sound. Okay, it says my sound is on. Okay. Yeah, y'all, we got to have sound. All right, we're going to try this again. And make sure my speakers are on right. Yeah, they are. All right, let's see. Let's see if we got it now. We're going to go back. All right, now y'all stop me like it soon. Titanium, your chat's like mine. They'll just keep talking. That's exactly what's happened. And that's why we go to the moon, right? Thank you, Cherry, for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, we're going to try this again. All right. Can y'all hear it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hey.
Unless you want to take them out there, but I wanted your mama to have this, and that's for me. And I brought more flowers for Tyler. I'm gonna go take some down to the place, but if you need more, then I'll give it to you. Look at all the birds sitting out there.
Power somewhere else. Ain't no way. That's a sweet woman. I wish you were here.
walk away. No, hold on for just a minute and walk away, and then let him go. Okay, let him go.
You might be looking down on right and know what we're doing.
Yeah. Where they at now? Yeah. They're really up there.
Like just there they are.
We got all of their things.
Now come on.
Better be it.
Who's a good prayer person? Read's a good prayer person. Say one. Go ahead, say one, then I'll say one if I can. Go ahead, Reed.
Lord, we thank you for bringing us all here together and showing us the ways here, Lord, and just giving us a chance to come out here and enjoy this beautiful place you put on earth. We thank you for each and every day for the life that you give us with, or the life that you provide us with, and everything you do for us. And we thank you for keeping angels around us while we're here, Lord. We also want to ask you, Lord, to also keep us protected as we go home on these roads, Lord. I want to thank you for everything you've done. We ask that you keep Tyler safe wherever he's at, Lord. And if he's up there with you, Lord, let him look down on us and guide us right, Lord. We ask, may if he's still here, Lord, that you send him home to us and just keep each and every one of us blessed. In your name we pray. Amen.
That's a good little prayer. All right, I'm praying. Say one more time. You got 2 seconds. Dear Lord, we thank you, Lord, for letting us be here today. And Lord, we pray, Lord Jesus, we could find out what happened to Tyler, Lord. We pray that you help us, Lord Jesus. We'd just like to know what happened to him, Lord, and you the one can help us with it, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, for what you've done for us today. And let us all be here together. And we pray that we all be together forever. And we pray that you bless everybody with a safe trip home. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
But I would like to do that one thing.
That's the main thing. Yes, I agree, Ricky. My hands are frozen. I know it. God, in your infinite wisdom, you know exactly what happened to Tyler. And we are going to continue to fight and seek justice because the truth is out there and somebody knows exactly what happened to Tyler. The truth will come to light. Till we see you again, Tyler. And that was it.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for capturing today. Even though we hate so bad to even think about today, but we just gotta keep fighting. I dreaded today so bad. Like, I wanted so bad to just forget it and lay here in my bed and just not think about it, but that's not in me. I can't do that. Um,
I know.
I have to keep fighting for him. And I'm going to, and I thank you so much for standing by me.
That's what I'm here for. We're family, you know? And I just appreciate all the people that have been, hey, April, it's good to see you. There's been so many people that are here from the Facebook group that are supporting. I have other creators in the chat. Titanium Built Nonsense is here. Thank you guys for being here. Chico was here earlier. All of my mods and members, thank you for giving Shay, who was like a sister to me, a space for her to come here and tell you about the real fight that her
Yeah.
family is going through. And you can hear in her voice how important this is.
It's all I care. Like, I have my own family, and I don't want to make. A lot of people have gave me criticism, and saying you have your own two children. My children are very well taken care of. They are doing great. We have a great life. I will always put my family first, but I'm gonna put Tyler first, and they know that. Like, and anybody who knows me knows that my family is fine. If you know me personally, you know my heart, you know how giving and loving I am. My kids are doing fantastic. Me and my husband have had some of the best times together in this past year. Being alone, my mother-in-law and my mom have come here to be with my kids and take care of them. So me and my husband can be together alone and go on trips. My closest friends know all about this.
Yep.
So my family has been taken care of, but I'm never going to stop fighting for Tyler. I'm a strong person and I have a strong fight in me. I can handle all of this and run a business and fight for Tyler.
She's Wonder
And,
Woman, y'all. I promise you.
and I couldn't do it though without these people, my new family that have supported me through the women I've met on Facebook and some of the men I've met on Facebook that are mods there. I can hardly talk right now. My nose is so stopped up from crying, and I'm sorry, but
It's okay. It's okay. I mean,
I want them
we
to know that
understand.
that I love you all so much. I love AJ. I didn't like you at first. We all know that. We both know that. But you are like a sister to me too. I
Yes.
love you with all my heart, and I
AJ
love the
came in hot,
relationship.
but you know
She's
what? She's really, y'all, she's really not that bad. I know there's a lot of people
she
out there that do not like her, but y'all, she is the sweetest. She really is.
she is so real. Like, I cannot imagine not having her in my life, and I cannot imagine not having you in my life, Duchess. Like, it's God that brought us together. And Tyler, he was friends with some crazy people, and they would do crazy stuff, and he would love them. And I know he would love this relationship that we have all brought together. And because of him, I got to meet some wonderful people. And I wish that it didn't happen this way, but this is just life, and this is how it is for us. And I just want to thank all of you for this, for being there for us, supporting our family. You don't have to do this, but you do. A big shout out to AJ. A big shout out to you, Duchess.
Thank you.
Jamie. I have a friend, Jamie, who I've stayed in close contact. She makes me laugh when I don't feel like I can laugh about anything. She reaches out to me out of nowhere and makes me laugh. Charles and Ashley, Stacy. I have so many people that message me out of the blue. Elaine, You know who you are. You helped me through a lot. And I love you. I love all of you who send me messages and help me get through this, because if not for you, I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. I'm Tyler's voice, but you're my voice for him behind me.
You know that we have your back. And look at all the people. And yes, AJ is passionate. Nonsense. I'm going to have to text you and tell you all about who AJ is. She's in your neck of the woods, and she's actually really good people, but she
She
does the
is.
hard work, and she'll tell you all about yourself. I'll have to explain all the good stuff. It's a whole other conversation, but we like
If you
AJ. She's awesome.
we love her. I love her
Yes,
to death, and
she
I'm
is,
so
and
thankful for her.
she makes me laugh. She, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But she is very passionate, and she is the admin of the other Facebook group. When all the Facebook groups were fighting each other, you have no idea. Like the stories I could tell you, Shay could tell you the same stories. Remember all the stuff that happened? It was a mess.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Um,
but we
no, wait a
found
minute.
our way
There's
back
no crime.
together, and
Yeah, we did. We did. Listen, once we all got to know each other and we all got on the same page, we realized that we all had something we could bring to the table. And you don't really want to mess with the team, because we have a great team and we work really great together. And I'm very thankful for AJ and all that she has done. So we are here to continue to support Terry Dean. Thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. I appreciate it. Elizabeth said, I went from crying to smiling when you talk about him because he sounds wonderful.
God, I wish that you guys could have just met him for 5 minutes, because he is so loving and caring, and Lord have mercy, that smile, those big blue eyes, there was nothing like it in this world.
Let's look at another picture of him before we get off here.
He could light up a room. It
And he
didn't
looks
matter.
like he has a good sense of humor.
Oh, he was so happy all the time. Everything was funny. He loved it. You know what I really loved about him? Like, if he would walk up to my husband and he would pitch his boob, like, just pitch it, and it would make us all laugh. He was just so funny and just an all-around good kid.
Yeah.
Just so
It's
loved and so missed, and
it's tragic what has taken place, because I don't feel like.
And that woman right there in that picture loved that baby. The day he was born, I remember her getting a call. You know, Michelle was so exhausted. She was tired. She was a new mom. She was young, and my mom would go over and take him and rock him. And it didn't take long before he pretty much lived with us. So I consider him my little brother.
Yeah. Miss Linda is...
She's one hell of a woman.
Let me tell you, she really is. I mean, she is a good Christian woman, but she will tell you all about yourself. Okay. Don't get it twisted. And she has let South Carolina DNR. She's had to stand up to them.
Yeah.
You know,
she's not
and
afraid.
she's
not
not
scared
afraid
of anybody.
No, she's not. And that's why Shay is the way that she is. Because she's just like her mama. You can't hold this family down. I think that they really kind of just thought, Shay, that you and your mama would just let it go.
Yeah, they did.
And,
but
I think you've proven them to be mistaken,
I will
because I
never
know you're going to see this through.
I will never let him down.
That's
He
right.
was the first little human being to come into my life that you're young, you think you know what love is, and then you see this little person, this little baby that your brother, that's his kid, but you're looking at it, you're like, oh my God, I am this kid's aunt. And I fell so in love with him, and he was such a good baby. He was a sweet toddler. He was just so good. His whole life he was good. And so much like me, I feel like. I feel like he is just a spitting image of my dad. And I favor my dad a lot. Me and Tyler, we always kind of struggled with weight problems. We had to watch what we eat, and because we got that dual gene. My mom, she's got her Tyler gene where she doesn't have to worry about what she eats. But me and Tyler, we always had to worry about what we eat. He had so much of me and my dad and him, and I think that's why we just have the same heart. And I'll never give up on him, ever, and he knows it. Wherever he is, if he's looking down on me, he knows it.
I feel like that wherever he is, the Lord knows where he is. And I feel like sometimes, we don't know, like your mom said, 1,000 years is to a day, as is, a day is to 1,000 years. So we don't know God's timing. Sometimes things have to come to light. Things have to unfold and happen the way that they do in order for the truth to be revealed.
Right.
And it's just like I ended that video by saying, the truth is out there.
Yep.
And it's just about finding those answers.
Yeah.
And I believe that it will be revealed. And how long that's going to take, I can't imagine. But I do hope that your family gets the answers that they deserve, because Tyler deserves to be here.
He does deserve to be here. And I hold a tremendous amount of guilt in my heart, and I always will, because I should have never helped him get that boat. I feel like that if I'd have never done that, if I'd have just said, no, I can't help you do that. But I only did it because I wanted him to have credit. I saw him building a life for himself one day. He was working for us, and he had no credit. And I thought, this is the best way for me to help him get credit. But I never knew that boat would be something he would get in and it would take his life. Or whatever happened out there, we don't know. But
you can't blame yourself for that, because you can't foresee the future. Please don't blame yourself. We've talked about this before. Listen, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I've said that 1,000 times about, I can't tell you how many things, but you could have never foreseen that would be the situation. That's like saying, I should have never bought myself this car because now I've had an accident, and if somebody was to get hurt, like, those are just things that happen, and it's not the boat itself, I feel like, that caused this situation. You can't let that take hold of you. Thank you, Terry Dean, for saying that. No, please don't let that guilt take hold. It's not the truth. It's the dark side trying to win. Yeah, it's not your fault.
Thank you.
You could have never fathomed that was going to be the situation. Just like they said, the boat line is dry rotted. If you have not watched any of my videos with Shay and AJ on my channel, there is an entire playlist for Tyler Doyle. I encourage you to go over there and watch it, because you will get an education in what actually happened in this case. We talk about it all. And then we had to go radio silent because SLED took over the investigation, and they asked us to really not discuss any details about the case. But it's been 14 months, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like at this point,
I feel like it's okay for me to say a little bit about what I know, which is not much.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot more that what we've already said is things that we have already discussed on previous live streams. And listen, SLED knows my channel. They have all of my live streams. They have video and recordings that I have sent into them, that I have sent to the governor, that I've sent to the solicitor. Shay has submitted all of the information that I have given, because all of that information, there's information that I have that I never put on this channel. And it's because it's not for YouTube. It's not for social media. there's information that we all gathered that we submitted to law enforcement. And if we want it to be used in an investigation, that's how we got Ronnie Floyd kicked off this case. Because we couldn't just go out here and play all of that and expect something to happen, that's going to benefit this family. Because interference in an investigation is never going to fly.
And right, and if anybody who's watching has any contact with the next of kin, which is Lakeland, reach out to her, please. Have her do the right thing. Like, we just need her to make sure she does the right thing too, because we only have so much control. We're not his next of kin. I know she wants to move on with her life, and I'm all for her doing that, but just make sure that we can be able to fight for Tyler. And she doesn't take that away from us.
Yeah, I mean, if she's not wanting to advocate to get answers for her husband because she's moved on, then she needs to relinquish that to the family that cares about what happened to him.
We're
and
okay
move on
with
with
her moving on. It's okay. We're not upset. We'll never be mad at her for that. We just want to be able to be his voice. That's all. That's all we care about. And maybe one day she will let us see Paisley.
No, Lillian, you don't have to stay up all night till noon watching all the live streams. You didn't know about my channel? Well, I'm so glad that you found us, Lillian, and I hope that you enjoy those videos. Please leave me a comment if you're watching Tyler's case for the first time, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, because this case is dear to my heart. This is in my own backyard. The Intercoastal Waterway where Tyler went duck hunting that day, where he parked his very vehicle, is in my backyard.
Yeah.
And today when we left Cherry Grove Point and drove home, his brother Reed was behind me with his boat, and they went out into the waterway. And I have to be honest with you, and I just want to say Reed did the most precious prayer today,
Yeah.
and he looked
He
so
really
good.
did.
And I'm so happy that he has a girlfriend, and he seemed happy.
Yes.
I
He's
just
doing
hope
good.
that he is safe when he goes out there.
You heard him when I was telling when he was leaving. I looked at him and I said, "You better be safe in that boat." Yes, ma'am. He said, he knows how serious I am about him being safe.
Well,
I
you
want
can
him
tell
to
him
be
that
okay.
Aunt Dutchie is spying on him from her kitchen window, because I seen him out there pull in, and my husband said, "Did you see Reed go out to the?" He said, "I hope he better be wearing that life jacket." My husband's over here telling Reed he better be wearing his life jacket.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, babe, he can't hear you from over here in the house." And I said, "But you can guarantee that I'm going to watch till he leaves. Because if I don't see him leaving, I'm going to be calling everybody that I know to get down here." Because, I mean, I can't help it. Every morning when I get up, the first thing I do, I don't know, it's a habit. I walk to my kitchen window and I just sit there, and I make my coffee and I just have to watch. And I don't know, maybe for the longest time, I really thought that one day I would see Tyler.
Well,
You know,
I know why because you were out there in that water and you know what happened and
it's scary.
how you made it back, and you had hope that he would too, and we
I
did.
told you I can't understand why my life could be saved, but Tyler's couldn't. Different circumstances, different people involved.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Somebody jumped in the water to save my life, but
Yeah.
nobody jumped in the water to save Tyler's, and I can't explain it.
No. We
but
don't know, but one day we will.
We will. The truth is out there, and we're going to keep pressing forward, and we're going to keep making phone calls and sending emails. And, you guys signing that petition for the beacons, that really means a lot to me and Shay. That's something that we came up with together that we thought was really important. So please do make sure that you sign this petition, read it, share it out. And we just appreciate y'all joining us tonight. And please don't forget to like and share this out, because we want Tyler's story to continue to go on so that more people will learn about what's happened in this case, because we feel like there's other families out there that have gone through the same things.
Yeah.
And there's things that need to change in every
have
state to help families that are going
do.
through these tragedies like this.
Yep.
So, if you guys could put some purple and orange hearts in the chat for Tyler, those are his colors. Those are the colors of his race car. This is Tyler with his race car here. This picture is from Deborah Todd Jordan that she took back in 2022. Tyler in his race car, purple and orange hearts. Those are his colors. And we always hashtag 38 strong and justice for Tyler Doyle. So if you are sharing Tyler's flyer, it will be on my community wall. It is on my Facebook page. He does have a NamUs, and let me see if I can get the link to his NamUs. I will share that in the chat, and it is in the description of this video. His NamUs link is right here if you guys want to go over and check that out. Shay has tried to get Ronnie Floyd's name off of that, and apparently the new guy from South Carolina DNR, he didn't know what NamUs was either. But his new flyer does not have call SCDNR and Horry County PD on it. The new flyer that I changed his picture up, and I also changed the contact number to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, and that number is 803-896-0281, and you can also email them at tips@sled.sc.gov. If you see something, say something. If you know information, if you have any information that is a credible tip that might lead to information about Tyler, we have done billboards. We have done all kinds of things to keep Tyler's information going out there. Please don't hesitate. Please do the right thing and come forward with any information that you have, because the family does believe there is suspicious circumstances involving what happened to Tyler that day, because the young man that was with him did not help search for him. In fact, retained a lawyer the first week that Tyler went missing, and has refused to speak to law enforcement, which may be why SLED is still investigating, and that's why we don't have any further information at this time. So please don't forget to pray for Tyler and his family, that they receive the justice, and a phone call hopefully very soon that SLED will have some answers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shay, for being here. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to close out the live stream.
Okay.
And we will continue to share Tyler's information and keep his name out there. And I love you, sis.
I love you too, sis.
And we'll catch up soon.
Okay.
I hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Y'all please show some love for Shay in the chat. I really appreciate her taking the time to come and speak to us this evening. These are real stories from the family. And I won't silence the family from speaking from the heart about what they are struggling with and what they're going through. And we appreciate you, Shay, and all that you and the people in the Facebook group are doing. If you guys want to check out the Facebook group, let me go over here and get the link to Tyler Doyle Discovering the Truth. If you're interested in Tyler Doyle's case, we have 27,000 members strong over there. Make sure you answer the questions or you won't get in. Just want to tell you that in advance. But if you're interested in learning more about this case, you can go over and join the Facebook group, and I just dropped the link in the chat. We have a lot of people that are in the Facebook group that have been there since we had to start this new Facebook group after all the fighting. Thank you for supporting this family. They are like my family. And I'm going to continue to fight with them for justice for Tyler, because the truth needs to be discovered and it needs to be shared. It needs to be shouted from the rooftops, and the people that are responsible need to be held accountable. Whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like. The family just wants the truth, and they just want somebody to come forward and tell the truth about what happened. If it's an accident, just say that. If something else happened, just say what it is, so this family can have closure and know what has happened. I really appreciate all of you being here and taking the time to spend with us this Sunday evening. I'm going to let y'all go. Please don't forget to like this stream and share this stream. Make sure you're subbed up to the channel. We cover cases over here all the time from North and South Carolina and all across the United States. We share missing flyers. And I'm going to get more information about Scott's case and Weldon Boyd, and be looking for a live stream in the future, because we're going to talk more about it. I appreciate you guys. Take care of yourselves out there. I hope everybody has an amazing week. Make sure you tell the ones that you love that you're thinking about them, that you love them, because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And if you're going to be faced with something like this, you never know if it's going to happen to somebody that you know. Take care, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here and supporting us over here at Duchess for the missing.
You're an outlaw, and there's a reward on your soul. I'm your downfall, a kiss from my lips.